The St. Louis Cardinals coming off back-to-back wins for the first time this season, led by this man, number 15, the rookie quarterback out of Portland State, Neil Lomax, a second-round draft pick. The Cardinals quarterback of the future, the Cardinals quarterback of the present, and the running of O.J. Anderson. What a month he's had, averaging almost 3.5 yards a carry earlier in the year. Now the offensive line is gelling. His stats are up to 5.5 yards a carry. And against Baltimore with rushes for over 130 yards, O.J. Anderson goes over the 1,000-yard mark for the third consecutive season. This play typifies the New England Patriots season. They've been in almost every game they've played, but interceptions, fumbles, costly penalties, and bad breaks like this deflected pass. The Patriots are snake-bit but explosive. The Cardinals coming on next on CBS.
CBS Sports presents the National Football League. Today, the St. Louis Cardinals against the New England Patriots.
Live from Schaefer Stadium in Foxborough, Massachusetts, under a weather forecast that calls for snow, the 2-10 New England Patriots against the 5-7 St. Louis Cardinals. Hello again, everybody. I'm Jim Kelly, former New York Jet John Dockery alongside. We expect a wide-open football game that should tell you something about the defenses because both coaches, Jimmy Hannafin and Ron Earhart, have told us that they expect that their teams will have to score at least 30 points in order to win this football game. Speaking of coaches, Ron Earhart has never, in high school, in college, in the pros, had a losing season, but his coaches and his players are rallying around him, saying they've never, ever been better prepared.
Jim, this is the best 2-10 team that I've ever seen. Very creative in the ways they've lost, too. They lost 2 in overtime. They've lost on fumbles. They've lost on interceptions. And last week, the Hail Mary pass versus Buffalo. But in fairness, this is a potentially good team. It's a very frustrating year for the Patriots and for their coach, Ron Earhart, whose job may be in jeopardy.
On the other side, Coach Jim Hannafin of the St. Louis Cardinals has changed quarterbacks, benching the veteran from 16 years, Jimmy Hart, and he's going with the rookie, Neil Lomax. But the coaches all feel in St. Louis that he's getting better with each and every game.
No doubt about it. And Jim Hannafin has been able to have his cake and eat it also. He's got a young quarterback. Neil Lomax, he's been playing well. He's been growing. He's been developing. And yet, they've won 2 games. But what the Patriots feel most, of course, is O.J. Anderson, who is on fire. And they should fear him because the Patriots have the worst rushing defense in the NFL. O.J. might just have a big day. We're just about ready for kickoff. So let's go down to the field. Jim?
St. Louis Cardinals have won the toss and elected to receive. They'll be defending the goal to our right. The New England Patriots will kick it off. And this football game, New England 2 wins, 10 losses on the year. The Cardinals 5-7, still with a shot at making the playoffs, just about set to get underway here in Foxborough, Massachusetts. Under threat of some light snow later this afternoon. And we are just about ready to go. Both coaches, as we said at the top of the telecast, expecting that they must score at least 30 points in order to win. John Smith tees it up. And this football game is underway. Back to the 20 and down at the 24-yard line. The Cardinals start out 1st and 10 with the rookie quarterback in possession. A nice return of 23 yards. There are the Cardinals and their offensive weapons. Neil Lomax, the second-round draft pick out of Portland State. O.J. Anderson, we'll talk a little bit more about him, but what a season he's having. Pat Tilley caught 5 catches last week against the Baltimore Colts. The Cardinals' offensive line, they will run right more than left. Bostic, Deerdorf, and, of course, the tight end, LaFleur, and he's a good one. 1st and 10 for the St. Louis Cardinals. Mel Gray out wide to the side. Pat Tilley flanked out wide to the right side. You look at the stats on Neil Lomax. Backs are split. Straight ahead. O.J. Anderson, nice across the 25 up in the vicinity of the 30-yard line. Picks up about 3. It'll bring up 2nd down and 7 for the Cardinals. Opening possession, first quarter action here at Foxborough.
And Jim, the Patriots have a real problem on their defensive line. John Lee starting in place of Tony McGee. You look at their linebackers, a solid group led by All Pro Steve Nelson. A secondary that has some of the top players in the league. Ray Claiborne, 1.
This time, Roy Green comes out wide to the left side. Tilley flanked out wide to the right side. Morris and O.J. Anderson backs are split. Lomax whistled before the snap. Cardinals might be called for too much time. The referee for today's game is Fred Silva, and it's against St. Louis, which will back them up. Both teams feel they would like to have some long... Well, here's the call by Fred Silva. False start against the Cardinals, cost them 5, so it'll bring up 2nd down and 13 yards to go at the 21 of St. Louis. We started to say, John, both coaches feel that they would like to keep the ball away from the other team's offense, which tells you something about their respective defenses.
And certainly we expect to see St. Louis run the ball. O.J. is on fire, as we said, averaging over 150 yards the last couple of games. Look for a balanced offense against a terrible defense against the rush in the Patriots.
Ray in motion to the near side. Lomax swings it out to O.J. Anderson. Near sideline, out of bounds. Maybe got back to the line of scrimmage, and not much more. You know, you take a look at this New England Patriot defense. They are 4th in the AFC in total defense. Oh, excuse me, they are 4th in the AFC in total offense. They are 10th in the AFC in total defense, 14th against the rush. Meanwhile, the St. Louis Cardinals are 6th in the NFC as far as rushing the football. So you can see the Cardinal game plan will feature an awful lot of O.J. Anderson.
Yet, Jim, there may be a misleading statistic because the Pats a couple of weeks back shut down Big Earl Campbell, holding him to only 64 yards. So they have been known to shut down the big back.
3rd and 13. Lomax will put it up from his own 21. He keeps O.J. Anderson in the backfield. Offensive line holding their block. Swings it out. Pat Tilley's got it. And a St. Louis first down. Out of bounds at the 37-yard line. Tilley, 3 touchdown catches on the year. A 4th-round draft pick back in 1976. 16-yard reception, and it's first down, St. Louis. Take another look.
Jim, so reminiscent of last week around the same time. He scrambled, Lomax found Tilley. This time he does it again. Tilley comes across, keeps his feet, runs away from the defender, picks up the first down. Just like last week when Lomax hit him for that 75-yard gain early in the Baltimore game.
Julie Adams, the man, number 85 for the Patriots, putting pressure on Lomax and forced him out of the pocket. From the 39 of St. Louis, they go to the one-back formation. Tilley is slot to the left side. Lomax looks at 1st and 10. O.J. Anderson chopped down, just about a pickup of a yard. 2nd down and 9. You know, John, you look at the New England Patriot defense, not very effective, 14th in the AFC against the rush, which is last in the conference. However, New England has done a very good job against teams such as St. Louis with one great back. They shut down Earl Campbell when the Patriots played Houston. They do a better job when they're able to key on just that one running back against, as opposed to a team like Baltimore, say, with a Curtis Dickey and a Randy McMillan.
Sure, it's much easier for a defensive team to just look at that one player, key on him, and go after him. And that's what the Patriots are doing right now, looking for O.J. to run the ball.
Wayne Morris with a double tight end alignment knifes his way across that 48-yard line up near the 49. A nice pickup for Wayne Morris, close to first down yardage. It'll depend where they spot the ball. Timmy Fox, the first-round draft pick from 1976, a 6-year veteran out of Ohio State, in there on the tackle. You look at the stats on Wayne Morris this year for the Cardinals and a measure. St. Louis Cardinals come in seeking their 3rd straight win over an AFC foe. Meanwhile, the New England Patriots are 0-3 against NFC opponents. 1st and 10, St. Louis. Morris did indeed pick up the first down as they approach midfield. The ball just shy of the midfield stripe at the St. Louis Cardinal 49-yard line. 1st and 10 for Neil Lomax, who works with O.J. Anderson. Wayne Morris in the backfield now. Wide receivers, Tilley to the near side. And the tight end LaFleur now to the right side. Lomax to throw on 1st and 10. Got Tilley streaking down the far sideline. Look at the offensive line holding their blocks. Now Lomax on the scramble will pick up 2 yards. 2nd down and 8. Lomax still has that college instinct, which is to run with the ball. Jim Hannafin, as he told us last night at dinner, would like to keep his quarterback back there in the pocket, more in the mold of a Jim Hart, but Lomax is so enthusiastic he likes to scramble.
He likes to scramble, and it certainly adds a new dimension. But problems for the offensive line. When you look at that offensive line anchored by number 72, Dan Dierdorf, they are used to blocking for a stationary quarterback like Jim Hart. So the scramble is something that gives them problems. They expect their quarterback to be back 7-8 yards right in the middle of that field. When they start to scramble, it can cause problems. But the last couple of weeks, they have adjusted to Lomax and done an excellent job. 2nd and 8 from the 49 of the New England Patriots. Tilley to the left side. Roy Green to the right side. Draw play. O.J. Anderson slithers on down to about the 43-yard line of the New England Patriots, who didn't want their defense to have to be out there very long. You can see that graphic on Ottis Anderson, who last week against the Colts carried for close to 130 yards and went over the 1,000-yard rushing mark for his 3rd consecutive year. 3rd-year man out of the University of Miami. And to give you an idea of how hot Ottis is, the week before against Buffalo, he rushed for 177 yards, the 2nd best in his career.
Tilley comes out wide to the near side. Belgray flanked out wide to the right side. 3rd and a short 2. Lomax to pump it up. He's got Belgray. Gray, another St. Louis first down inside the 30-yard line of the New England Patriots. He turned around number 25 and take a look at the end zone. An 18-yard pickup. First and 10, St. Louis.
And Jim, for Mel Gray, that's 114 consecutive games with a catch. Just runs the curl in. Rick Sanford is playing zone, reacts to the ball, can't get there in time. He keeps that streak alive.
Sanford, another one of those first-round draft picks the Patriots have been stockpiling over the years. In his third year from South Carolina. O.J. Anderson now deployed to the right side. Tilley in the slot. Mel Gray cannot hang on. Incompleted pass. That was not a fumble.
And that's the reason you see Schote rushing up there. If it were a lateral, it could have been a fumble. That's why Schote was rushing up to try and make the recovery. The officials rightfully ruled it a forward pass and incompletion.
11-11 left in quarter number one. The New England Patriots, 2 wins, 10 losses on the year. Rallying around their coach, Ron Earhart. St. Louis offense, as you see, 8th in total offense in the NFC. They are 6th in rushing, 10th in passing. From the eye, Morris and Anderson. Wide receivers left and right on 2nd and 10. Lomax looked for Tilley. He was covered, fired down, incomplete, intending it for the tight end, Greg LaFleur, the rookie out of LSU. Down in the vicinity of the 5-yard line. Good one-on-one coverage for the New England Patriots. Back there, number 48, to help out. And boy, is that a mismatch. Timmy Fox, who only stands 6 feet, and LaFleur 6'4", and about 60 pounds on him.
And it's interesting to see that Lomax go to the pass so often, using a lot of play action, realizing that the Patriots are expecting O.J. Anderson to run the ball. He's using O.J. as a decoy and putting the ball up.
Lomax looking at 3rd and 10, sends Gray out wide to the left side. Tilley moves into the slot. And now Willard Harold, 39, is also deployed. 3 wide receivers to the left side. Lomax misfired. That was simply a poor pass. Harold was there. He had beaten the linebacker. That's what you try to do, is isolate the back on the linebacker slipping out of the backfield. So 4th and 10, and we will apparently see Neil O'Donoghue.
And it's interesting, on that particular formation, you saw 11 New England Patriots up at the line of scrimmage. They were in man-to-man. They were doubling the outside receivers. Lomax couldn't connect. He hit the right man coming out of the backfield, but he just couldn't connect for the first down.
They'll spot the ball at the 34. This will be a 44-yard try for Neil O'Donoghue, who is 2 out of 8 from this distance. St. Louis Cardinals opening possession. Used 4 minutes. And we'll get 3 points on that drive. O'Donoghue had just cleared the crossbar. A 44-yard field goal, and the St. Louis Cardinals score first. The Cardinals still with a slim shot of making the playoffs. Take the opening possession. They come away with 3 points. The Patriots get the football when we come back.
On behalf of the United States Marine Corps, we thank all of you who brought stories to the today for the annual Christmas Toys for Fox Valley.
The 800-pound wedge in there? It's not. It is. It isn't.
Neil O'Donoghue, who just barely cleared the uprights from 44 yards out, putting the Cardinals out in front by a score of 3-0. Collins and Toller back deep for the Patriots. And all kinds of trouble on the exchange. Tony Collins looks for some blocks and will go down at about the 14-yard line.
Look at that, the Cardinals motioning they got the ball, but I don't think so. But you'd almost expect something like that. The Patriots, the first time they get the ball, what happens? They fumble it on the kickoff. It's kind of in keeping with the way the season has been. They have been snake-bitten as you look at the offensive backs and receivers. Of course, Matt Cavanaugh in there for the injured Steve Grogan at quarterback.
And the offensive line, John Hanna, who a lot of people think is simply the best offensive lineman that ever played the game of football. 1st and 10, New England Patriots. Harold Jackson wide to the left side. Stanley Morgan in the slot. Cunningham and Collins in the backfield with Cavanaugh. Straight ahead goes Sam Bam Cunningham out of USC, a first-round draft pick back in 1973, the 8-year veteran, who only needs now 5 yards to tie the Patriots in the all-time career rushing record. That is held by Jim Nance. 6 yards, of course, would then break it.
Good set of linebackers for the St. Louis Cardinals, especially Dave Aarons in the middle. He's going to be a good one. Jeff Griffin, the rookie in the secondary right cornerback, will be a star in the NFL very soon.
Wide receivers left and right for Cavanaugh. Pick up a 4 by Cunningham. His next carry, he will tie the record. If he gets 1 yard, he'll break it if he gets more. Vagas Ferguson, near the 20-yard line, sliced down. And John was talking about the good linebacking core of the St. Louis Cardinals. They are young, and they are learning, and they are growing together.
Interesting that we see Vagas Ferguson making his first start, as you see Minnesota ahead of Green Bay, making his first start of the year. It's been a tough year for Vagas Ferguson, who gained 818 yards in 1980. This year, only 208 yards on 50 carries before that one.
Cincinnati going up over Cleveland, in Cleveland. Cincinnati, of course, very much alive in that AFC Central race. They've come in with a record of 9-3. The shotgun, 3rd and 5. Cavanaugh's first pass. Somehow completed for a first down. Stanley Morgan. It was deflected by one of the Cardinal linebackers, almost picked off, and Morgan, with a good concentration, comes up with a 14-yard grab.
Now, Matt Cavanaugh doesn't have the strongest arm in the world. His ball flutters a little bit. This one is tipped by a linebacker. Can't get his hand. Stanley Morgan, good concentration, goes up like a basketball player taking a rebound to block the defensive back. Number 44, Tim Collier, makes the reception for the first down.
That was E.J. Jr., the linebacker, 6'3", the rookie out of Alabama, who deflected the ball. He had an interception a week ago against the Colts. 1st and 10, Patriots. They trail 3-0 from their own 33. The flea flicker, Cavanaugh. First down and more. Stanley Morgan. Jeff Griffin was back there. The ball was actually underthrown. Now, that's the kind of a play you expect to see when Steve Grogan is in there at quarterback. He is kind of the mad bomber of New England. A 39-yard pickup. Look at it from the end zone.
Little flea flicker. It's pitched back by Cunningham. Cavanaugh airs it out. Toughest play for a defensive back to try and stop and come back with the ball because he doesn't see it. Griffin doesn't see it. Morgan makes the catch. And that man is a game breaker. Leading the NFL with almost 25 yards per catch, Stanley Morgan is probably one of the best wide receivers in the game. Dave Pirelli told us he liked him better than Lynn Swann and John Stallworth at Pittsburgh, guys he coached.
Morgan out wide to the left side. Jackson moves into the slot. Lone setback is Cunningham from the 27 of the Cardinals. Shot down behind the line of scrimmage. Tony Collins, the rookie, out of East Carolina. That was not Cunningham. That was Collins, the rookie, out of North Carolina.
And Jim, remember last week against Buffalo, Tony Collins, a horrendous day, carried something like 4 times for 5 yards, fumbled twice. They yanked him. Vagas Ferguson came in, had a pretty good day. And now I think we'll see both backs today. Vagas Ferguson, number 43, and 33, Tony Collins.
2nd down 11 from the 28 of the Cardinals. Wide receivers left and right. Andy Johnson now is in there, number 32. The Patriots' leading passer. We'll explain in a moment. Cavanaugh. Open man. Stanley Morgan down inside the 5. Chased out of bounds by Kenny Green. Andy Johnson, the man who is shaking hands with him right there, has thrown 7 passes from the backfield. He has completed all 7 passes, and 4 of those have gone for touchdowns.
Obviously, part of the Patriots' game plan is to go after that rookie, Jeff Griffin, number 35, the rookie from Utah. Here, Morgan does a down, squares out, goes to the corner, catches it, running away. Excuse me, that's number 37, Ken Green, safety, trying to cover him. A definite mismatch.
All the way down to the 1-yard line of the St. Louis Cardinals. St. Louis struck first on a 44-yard field goal by Neil O'Donohue, but the Patriots, on their first possession, come right back and are knocking at the door. Keep your eye on Cunningham, 39. He's the muscle man inside. He is the power back. Double tight end alignment. Cunningham, touchdown, New England. A 1-yard plunge, so he has just tied Jim Nance for the all-time leading ground gainer in New England Patriots history. And John Smith will try to increase it to a 4-point Patriot advantage.
And look where they went. Over the left side, that's John Hanna leading the way. His number 76, that's the number 1 draft choice. Big Sam the Bam takes it in. They don't call him Sam the Bam for nothing. He's like a battering ram when he gets down near that goal line.
Cunningham's 3rd touchdown on the ground this year. Cavanaugh will hold. John Smith will kick. 7:40 left to go in the first quarter in what we expect will be an offensive performance. Motion on the interior line. That Minnesota score was 7-0. A 50-yard touchdown pass from Tommy Kramer to Ahmad Rashad. Kramer has just come back and thrown 13 yards to the tight end from Westchester, Joe Sensor. It's 14-0. Vikings on top over Green Bay.
Of course, Jim, talking about that, the Vikings need that victory because Detroit is breathing down their necks with a 6-6 record. Of course, Minnesota 7-5, leading the Central Division in the NFC.
Snap, spot, kick. He nailed it. 7:40 left to go in quarter number 1. The Patriots come right back on their first possession. They get the touchdown. They go ahead of the Cardinals 7-3. John Smith will kick off to the Cardinals when we return.
3.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Kick returner extraordinaire for the St. Louis Cardinals, Stump Mitchell there, awaiting the kick of John Smith. We have played just under 8 minutes of football, and we've got 10 points on the board. We said this would not be a defensive struggle.
Definitely not. Both coaches saying they wanted 30 points to win the game. And if you look at the defense, St. Louis gives up 27 points a game, New England 23. That's a total of 50 points, so we should have some more scoring.
Flag on this kickoff. Cardinals look like they were offside. Stump Mitchell gets back in the vicinity of the 20-yard line. Interesting play. Cardinals had a man all the way up at the 50-yard line before John Smith kicked the ball on the specialty team, and he was up throwing a block at the 45 almost as Smith was kicking it. Here's Fred Silver.
Indication offside. On the kicking team, receiving, number 52. Offside, refused, first down.
So the Patriots will send in the defensive unit. You look at the New England scoring drive there, of course, the big play, the flea flicker. Matt Cavanaugh to Stanley Morgan, which set it all up. Cincinnati has just taken a 14-0 lead now over the Cleveland Browns in Cleveland. Cincinnati 9-3 going in. The Browns 5-7 and are not headed to the playoffs. O.J. Anderson going absolutely nowhere. Julius Adams met him head-on at the line of scrimmage, the 10-year veteran out of Texas Southern, and wrapped his big frame around O.J. Anderson. Adams is 6'4", 263, so that's some collision.
As you look at the score, Pittsburgh leading Los Angeles 7-0. Of course, Pittsburgh breathing down Cincinnati's neck, hoping for that wild card spot, and has a good shot at it. Franco Harris scored on a 1-yard run to make it 7-0.
Actually, Anderson lost a yard. Second down and 11. 6:55 left to go in quarter number 1. Gray to the left side, Philly to the right side. Lone back is Anderson. Lomax. And they contain him once again. Had he gotten outside, he would have had one man to beat. This telecast is presented by authority of the National Football League and is intended for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast or other use of this telecast without the express written consent of the New England Patriots and the National Football League is prohibited. 3rd and 8 facing Neil Lomax, second-round draft pick out of Portland State. Ball backed up at the 22-yard line. Tilley comes out wide to the left side. He was Lomax's main man a week ago in that win over the Baltimore Colts. Out wide to the right side goes Mel Gray and Roy Green. Pressure on Lomax, who has to get rid of it before he wanted to. It's complete and a Cardinal first down at the 49-yard line. Mel Gray turned Ray Claiborne completely around. Look at it again from the end zone.
This is what veteran receivers do so well, their concentration. If you watch Mel Gray, you'll watch him fade to that sideline, fade away. Lomax throws at the place you should, away and outside, so that there's no chance that the defensive back, Mel Gray, makes the catch for the first down. Beautiful reception. And,
John, you could see the effect of the wind, how long the ball hung up there. Lomax can throw it 50 yards on a string, and that time the ball just fluttered down into the waiting arms of Mel Gray. Another Cardinal first down. St. Louis now inside New England territory once again. O.J. did that all on his own. There were no blocks. Roland James came up, first-round draft pick from 1980, second-year man out of Tennessee, to chop him down, helped out by Rod Schote.
It's interesting when we talked to O.J. Last night about how many times he'd like to carry the ball in a game. He said if the game is a soft one and he's not being pummeled and he's making some yardage, he doesn't mind carrying it 25 or 30 yards a game. But if it's a really hard-fought, tough defensive hitting game, 20 times wears them down. Interesting.
You take a look at that graphic on the New England Patriot defense. We had mentioned they are not particularly adept at stopping the run. Although they do better when they can key on just one back as opposed to a pair of them. Patriots 14th in the AFC against the rush, which is obviously last in the conference. Mike Hawkins, 59, made the stop on O.J. Anderson, who's getting a busy afternoon so far in this first quarter. Cardinals will have to probably put it up now on 3rd and 10.
We talk about keying on one back, yet there are some backs that have had big days against them. McMillan had 146 yards. Montgomery had over 100 yards. So did Dorsett and Delaney. So the Pats are vulnerable, but today they're playing the run very well, forcing Lomax to put the ball up.
Lomax 4 out of 7 for 64 yards here early in the first quarter. Keeps one back in for blocking and goes to the safety valve. Shy of first down yardage. Good pursuit that time by the Patriots. Richard Bishop, backup nose tackle, 6-year man from Louisville in there, along with John Chamberlain. And the Cardinals will punt.
You know, we talked to the Patriots, and they're 2-10. You would think maybe like Baltimore that they'd be really a down team. Yet we found that they felt to a man that they were prepared, that they have been in just about every game, and they've lost them in just bizarre ways, as though there's a dark cloud floating over them. Today they're playing good ball so far.
Stanley Morgan back deep. He's backed up at about the 10-yard line. And the Cardinals have the fake on, and the Patriots aren't buying. New England sniffed that one out. They'll enjoy excellent field position. Mosi Tatupu in there on the tackle.
And I don't know if the fake was on or not. Watch Don Blackman, number 55, come from the outside. Might have forced the run. There's a timeout in the field. We'll be back at Schaefer Stadium in just a moment.
you look at the Vikings and what they're doing to Green Bay, Minnesota came in with a record of 7-5, leading that NFC Central Division. Detroit 6-6, Tampa Bay 6-6.
My old Jets beating Baltimore 7-6. Freeman McNeil for the touchdown. What a difference he makes to their running attack.
Cavanaugh to throw it up on first down from his own 45. Got it wide open. That's Harold Jackson down at the 35-yard line. Loose football. 20-yard pickup and a first down. If the Patriots retain possession, they do. Jackson was popped extremely hard, and it looked like Vagas Ferguson was the man who covered the loose football.
And this is a crossing pattern with a little fake. Harold Jackson catches his first pass in 4 games. He's been shut out for the last 3 weeks. It's the first time in his career. Here he coughs up the ball. Vagas Ferguson comes by, gets on it. Patriots retain possession, first down.
Wide receivers, Harold Jackson and Ken Toller now. Jackson has gone out. Kenny Toller has come in, the rookie out of Mississippi. Incomplete, intended for Stanley Morgan. He almost deflected it right into the waiting arms of number 35, Jeff Griffith, the rookie out of Utah, for the St. Louis Cardinals. So the Patriots testing the Cardinals secondary early, and that's what Burt Jones did a week ago against Baltimore. Don't forget, most of you will see the Giants and San Francisco coming up as our doubleheader here on CBS. The New York Giants still very much in the hunt as far as the playoff picture is concerned, with a record of 6 wins and 6 losses. And of course, Joe Montana, Bill Walsh and company, San Francisco and the 49ers are leading the NFC West with a record of 9-3. Cunningham back in now, the Patriot backfield. Second down and 10 at the 37 of St. Louis. They faked the draw play. Cavanaugh has it batted loose. It's an incompleted pass. The arm was in forward motion.
You talk about the San Francisco-New York Giant game. Montana might have some problems. Watch a replay here. Cavanaugh is looking for his man. Little fake, not much of a fake. Doesn't do anything to the defense. He's looking around. He gets some pressure from the backside. Tries to retain his cool. Loses possession of the ball. Wasn't really hit. Just lost his grip on the ball.
Rush Brown, Curtis Greer, the Cardinals' right side of that defensive front coming in there, putting pressure on Cavanaugh, who now looks at 3rd and 10. Slot formation to the near side. Stanley Morgan out wide to the left side. From the shotgun. Cavanaugh's got his tight end wide open. Don Hasselbeck was open at about the 12-yard line, and the ball simply hung up there too long. Hasselbeck can't believe it.
And that's where touch comes in for a quarterback. That seam was open. Yes, you do have to float it. Yes, you do have to get it over the linebacker. But if it floats too much, and there is some wind today, you're liable to have an intercepted. Cavanaugh couldn't connect. It was open.
Actually, the wind is blowing right from Cavanaugh's backside, so the ball just took off a little bit on that. It'll bring up 4th down, and the Patriots will punt. Stump Mitchell, number 30, is back to receive. And Wooler Harold is the up back. High kick that goes sailing, as you might expect with the wind at his back, into the end zone. So the Cardinals defense that time turned it around, kept the Patriots out of the end zone and off the scoreboard. A 37-yard punt, 2:34 left to go in the first quarter. The Cardinals have a field goal. The New England Patriots lead it by a touchdown, 7-3.
There we go, Jim.
First and 10 Cardinals at their own 20-yard line. Lomax, wide receivers left and right. Backs are split. St. Louis down by 4, 7-3. Handoff, Wayne Morris behind it. O.J. Anderson blocks, slides along the line of scrimmage. Gets it up close to the 24-yard line before Bob Golick, the third-year veteran out of Notre Dame, chases him out of bounds.
It's interesting talking to O.J. yesterday. He said that he feels he's as good as he's ever been as a back. As you watch Harold Jackson go to the locker room, he has a cut cheek. He might need some stitches, but give you an idea, Jim, of how tough Harold Jackson is. He has a consecutive streak of 187 games. That's the longest in NFL history for a receiver. I expect he'll be back.
Interesting, though, Harold has yet to catch a touchdown pass this year. 2:29 left to go in the first quarter. O.J. Anderson gets outside the containment, and look out. The big back in his third year from Miami, up across the 35, near the 37-yard line. A 12-yard carry for O.J. Anderson. The Steelers have just gone ahead. The Los Angeles Rams now 14-0. Bradshaw hitting Lynn Swann from 9 yards out. That coupled with a Franco Harris 1-yard plunge. And the Steelers still in the playoff picture with a record of 7-5, chasing Cincinnati for the Central Division in the AFC, but certainly thinking about wild card possibilities. Have a 14-0 lead over the Rams. Another Cardinal first down up near the 37-yard line. First and 10. Lomax sends Tilley out wide to the left side. Gray to the far side. Blown back. O.J. Anderson. Back across the field. O.J.'s got it. Needs a block. The calm, cool, collected play of the rookie out of Portland State, Neil Lomax, in the face of all kinds of danger. Good pressure that time by the Patriots. Again, it was Richard Bishop, 64, the 6-year veteran out of Louisville, chasing Lomax out of the pocket. And that time, Lomax was looking downfield, wanted to throw the ball to Wayne Morris, who was down on the near sideline, came back across the grain and found O.J. Anderson, kind of a safety valve.
It's interesting, Jim, when we talked to O.J. last night, he said he was more of a complete back, that he's blocking a lot better now, and he's running better patterns. He's catching the ball out of the backfield. He already has 39 receptions. That's his 40th this season.
They need to. They won't get it on that play. Loose football, and the Patriots think they've got it. Turnover, New England, first and 10. That's Rick Sanford, the third-year man out of South Carolina who fell on the loose football. Let's see who caused the initial hit right there. Number 57 for the New England Patriots, Steve Nelson, the 8-year veteran out of North Dakota State, caused the fumble, and it was covered by New England. So there's an ironic twist of fate because as you look at O.J. Anderson, who is still down for the Cardinals, it has been the costly mistake, the fumble, the interception, the bad penalty at the wrong time, that has hurt New England over the course of their 2-10 season.
Well, Jim, you have to believe that they are owed a few. I mean, last week their winning Buffalo throws a Hail Mary pass with a few seconds left. It's tipped in the end zone. They go on to beat the Patriots. I mean, all season long, that's been the history of it. Maybe they're going to get a few breaks back their way today. As we look at O.J. Anderson on the ground, he's been such a durable back. Started 44 consecutive games, having never missed one. And watch it again. Steve Nelson makes the hit. After being blocked, Nelson comes off at number 57, and watch him, all 6'2", 230 pounds of him, hits O.J., takes him right down to the turf. Ball pops out.
Lands on his left knee. O.J. appears to be holding his left knee down there.
It's really ironic when we talk to O.J., him telling us that he's stronger, that he's into a weightlifting program, that he's feeling healthier than he's ever felt before in his career, and yet today he comes down with an injury.
Don't forget, it all begins next week with the NFL Today first. That'll be followed by a great game. San Francisco leading the NFC West. Cincinnati atop the AFC Central, both with identical records going in today. Cincinnati a commanding 14-0 lead right now over the Browns in Cleveland. And, of course, San Francisco will play the New York Giants as the second half of our CBS doubleheader game later today. That's a great one for you next week here on CBS. They are still attending to one of the premier running backs in the National Football League, Ottis Anderson, in his third year out of Miami. And this would be a very costly loss for the Cardinals if O.J. is unable to return. Again, it looked like that left knee when Nelson fell on him from behind.
And that's what you fear as a running back. Some of the great running backs that have been cut down early in their careers, guys like Gale Sayers. O.J. had trouble with his knees. So many of the good running backs. Every time you take that ball, so many people coming after you from all kinds of different angles. There we see a very sad picture as O.J. heads towards the bench with that left knee dangling.
Matt Cavanaugh sends Stanley Morgan wide to the left side. Kenny Toller wide to the right side. 1st and 10 New England, and he'll throw it up on 1st down. Wants to go deep. Got a man, Stanley Morgan, streaking down toward the flag. Incomplete. Morgan was not sure where the ball was going, John, on that route, inside or outside. And once you get the intended receiver turned around, it's very tough, as you know, having played, to reverse your field and go back and run that corner route.
I think that's a situation where Matt Cavanaugh said, look, I have a game breaker. I have Stanley Morgan, who runs the 40 in maybe 4.3 seconds. He's got a rookie covering him, the number 35, Jeff Griffin. I'm going to take my shot because I believe if two men go up from it, for it, Stanley Morgan will come down with it. He's that kind of talent.
Well, Griffin was right there, though, stride for stride with him. Fine defensive play by the rookie. 2nd down and 10. 39 seconds left to go in the quarter. New England a 4-point lead. They've got a touchdown. The Cardinals have a field goal. This is Hasselbeck in motion to the near side. Morgan out left. Cavanaugh underneath. Shy of 1st down yardage. A pickup of about 5. That's the back simply looping out of the backfield. Looks like Andy Johnson, number 32. And another Cardinal is down. That's number 54, E.J. Jr., the rookie linebacker out of Alabama. There is O.J. Anderson over on the Cardinals bench. So Cardinals are falling rapidly.
5 guys. It'll be 3rd and 5 with the ball at the 41.
Cardinals have some good young linebackers, as we said at the top of the telecast. You look at Matt Cavanaugh behind that huge offensive line of the Patriots. There's number 73 on the right side of your screen, John Hanna, whom Babe Parilli called the best football player at a position he has ever seen.
I'm surprised because Babe and I played together with the New York Jets, and he excluded me from that category, Jim.
Cavanaugh, I'll let that go.
You're going to stand pat on that one?
Cavanaugh came in, of course, replacing Steve Grogan. Grogan out with a knee injury. But Cavanaugh saw lots of action last year and earlier this year in a starting role. In fact, there are Grogan fans here at Foxborough, and there are Cavanaugh fans. Quarterback situation a little bit unsettled. Andy Johnson got his man and then dropped. Andy Johnson was 7 out of 7 in the passing department with 4 touchdowns. Take another look.
It amazes me how he can come off the bench, Jim, and just throw the ball this well. Watch Andy Johnson. He has Stanley Morgan coming streaking across the field. He throws the ball well. It's just beyond the reach. Might have been even catchable. Ruins his streak. He is now 7 for 8.
So that's the end of the first quarter with the score. The New England Patriots 7, the Cardinals 3. Back at Foxborough, Jim Kelly, John Dockery, the Patriots protecting a 4-point lead at the moment, 7-3. Cardinals anticipating this punt by Rich Camarillo. Stump Mitchell is back deep, along with Willard Harrell. Camarillo angles for the sideline, doesn't get it, and a fair catch. Willard Harrell, a free agent out of Pacific, 7-year NFL veteran, makes the free catch. 33-yard kick, and so the Cardinals come back on offense, but I do not believe O.J. Anderson is in there. Now he comes in. It was a thigh bruise, we are told from the bench. That would have been a tremendous loss for the Cardinals and, of course, their playoff hopes. Still a long shot for St. Louis, but they're still alive. 5 and 7. Jim Hannafin told us last night that if they could win all of their remaining games, he thinks they will be in the playoffs. Wayne Morris bucks over the right side. Bostic and Deardorff opening up the hole. Pickup of 3, 2nd down and 7. Golick in there on the tackle for the Patriots.
Interesting statistic on Wayne Morris, 29 consecutive games without a fumble. He's carried over 200 times without coughing up the ball. I see O.J. in there. He was testing his thigh, stretching it a little bit. Let's see if he gets the call right here.
Roy Green goes out wide to the left side. Pat Tilley wide to the right side. Baxter, Morris, and Anderson in the odd. O.J. Good block by Morris, and you could see the leg going out from O.J. there. He was unable to make the cut and is chopped down about the 13-yard line. Ray Claiborne came up and made it secure, but O.J. simply had his legs go out from under him.
And you see him limping back to the huddle there, got up very stiff-legged, holding that left thigh and limping back to the huddle. I think you might see him come out of the game right now. There he goes out of the game. He's giving it a try. I wonder, because the longer you sit on the bench, the tighter that's going to be, the more difficult it's going to be to come back. I think they sent him back in to see if it could loosen up in the heat of action and maybe that he'd be able to play with it. Apparently, he's not able to play with it at the moment.
So the rookie out of the Citadel, Stump Mitchell, number 30, will try and fill some rather large shoes. 3rd down and 6. Lomax will have to throw. Got Pat Tilley on a crossing pattern and got a St. Louis first down. Rich Claiborne in there in the tackle. The man that chased him out of bounds. But Pat Tilley, who had 5 grabs for well over 140 yards last week against Baltimore, you just can't cover him one-on-one in that crossing pattern.
Too slow, too small, can't do it, yet does it every week, going for 1,000 yards in receiving this year. He only needs about 50 yards to get to that point. Changes the whole complexion of the game for Neil Lomax, though, without an O.J. Lomax, the last 2 games, has used that balanced attack to win the 2 games. Now he's missing his premier back. More of the onus on his shoulders.
Again, Stump Mitchell is in there trying to replace O.J. Anderson. His first carry of the football game, there was no hole, and what little running room there was sealed off very quickly. You can see the contact as one of the helmets popped off down there. Making the initial hit, 64, Richard Bishop, who was having some kind of a first half, the nose tackle of the New England Patriots. Also helping out in there, Mike Hawkins. Cincinnati running away from the Cleveland Browns right now. They had a 14-0 lead after the first quarter. A 7-yard touchdown pass, Anderson to Collingsworth early in the second stanza, and it's 21-0 Bengals over the Browns. Cincinnati well on their way to a 10-3 record after this weekend. And look what Pittsburgh is doing to the Rams. Steelers still in the playoff hunt. Rams, who came in with a 5-7 record, are all but out of it. Lomax, he's got Pat Tilley again. Just shy of the 40-yard line, and another St. Louis first down. 16-yard completion. Rod Choate, the 6-year man from Oklahoma, in pursuit. Anytime you've got Tilley going up against a linebacker, that's an obvious mismatch.
And a good read by Lomax. He was looking to throw the outside as you look at the call. It's against the New England Patriots. He was looking outside to throw the quick takeoff. It wasn't there. He came to his secondary receiver, something very difficult for a young quarterback, and he got it to completion to Tilley, first down.
Illegal contact, number 26. Refuse. First down.
You know, you talk to Hannafin about Lomax, and he tells you about the young quarterback having vision down the field, being able to see that second and third receiver. That's something you can't teach a quarterback, and some quarterbacks never have it. They just have tunnel vision. Lomax has that kind of ability.
And he's got another St. Louis first down at the 39-yard line. Morris and Mitchell are the running backs for Tilley, wide to the left side. Lomax to throw on first down. Got Tilley again, and another first down for St. Louis. Inside the Patriots' territory, Ray Claiborne, the man who was beaten on the play, and Tilley is having some kind of an afternoon. 21 yards, another Cardinal first down.
And that's what you want in a receiver, the sure hands, because this ball is thrown high. Tilley goes up and gets it. If he doesn't go up and get it, it's an interception because there's a defensive back right behind him. Good catch by the little man.
You know, Neil Lomax, the rookie out of Portland State, is having some kind of an afternoon picking apart the Patriots' secondary. A defense which was ranked 3rd in the AFC against the pass. They were 2nd most of the year. And here is the rookie coming into Foxborough and just picking them clean. 1st and 10, St. Louis from the eye. Tilley left, Gray right. Stump Mitchell down on the ground at the 44-yard line. Adams out of Texas Southern in there on the hit.
You talk about Lomax. 2 games ago against Buffalo, the defense really won the game. They won 24-0. Last week, some key plays against Baltimore. Hannafin told us he sees the maturity coming. Today, a real challenge because his OJ's out of the game. It's squarely on his shoulders. He's going to have to throw the ball to win today, and he's doing exactly that. You see the continued growth and development of Neil Lomax.
2nd down and 13. Gray comes out to the right side. Tilley to the top of their screen. Backs are still Morris and Stump Mitchell. Blitz count. And that time, from the right side, Rod Choate, the 6-year man out of Oklahoma, gets the sack. Lomax didn't see it coming, and Choate was never hit.
A young quarterback, a veteran quarterback, sees this coming and unloads it either to a quick post to one of his receivers. Adams just beats his man right now. That's Terry Steve. Number 85 beats him right now, puts pressure on the quarterback. Choate comes in to make the sack. But a young quarterback has trouble. The blitz comes, he has to think a couple of seconds to figure out who he's going to throw to, doesn't unload the ball, and the result is a sack.
You saw that graphic on the New England Patriots and their sacks last year. This year, of course, way down.
It's amazing when you think about the Patriots only having 14 sacks, when the New York Jets have a total of 59 with Pecco and Gastineau, 16 and 15 apiece.
Lomax overshoots Pat Tilley, but in fairness to Neal, he was under all kinds of pressure. And again, it was 85 Julius Adams, the man who was busting through there and putting pressure on the rookie quarterback. Lomax now 9 out of 13 for 122 yards. Stanley Morgan drops back deep for New England, anticipating this punt by the St. Louis Cardinals. Pat Leahy, a 37-yard field goal. The Jets go ahead of Baltimore in the second quarter by a score of 10-0.
Miami has a tough game in that AFC Eastern Division race. They play Philadelphia on Monday night, so the Jets are in great position with that weak schedule. They have to beat Green Bay and Seattle, and they'll take first place in the East.
You look at Carl Birdsong, awaiting the snap. Stanley Morgan back deep. One of the AFC premier punt returners, Felix Quinley at the 16. Shot down at the 30-yard line, and Patriots will break from that point. 10:16 left to go in the second quarter, and we are still where we were at the end of the first quarter. The Patriots protecting a 4-point lead. They've got the football.
First down and 10 for the Patriots offense. Spot the ball at the 30.
Jackson came back. I'll look and get a shot of him on the New England sideline. There is Harold Jackson, wide receiver extraordinaire for the New England Patriots, who has come back. So he apparently will see more action this afternoon. In the meantime, the rookie out of Mississippi, Ken Toller, is in there. He is wide to the left side. Straight ahead goes Sam Van Cunningham as he bucks his way across the 35 near the 37-yard line of the Patriots. A pickup of 7, second down and 3 for the former USC running back, who has 2 touchdowns on the ground so far, an 8-year veteran. And watch the hole, and watch pulling guard number 73, John Hanna, and watch that block right there as he just blows his man away and opens up the hole for Cunningham. And with that carry, Cunningham is now the all-time leading ground gainer in New England Patriots history, surpassing Jim Nance. Did you play against Jim Nance?
I played against Jim Nance. What a horse he was. Oh, my. Certainly, Sam Cunningham is that kind of a back, big, strong, tough back.
Cavanaugh gives the ball off to Tony Collins, the rookie from East Carolina, and he is across the 40, and if they give him his forward progress, that'll be a Patriots first down.
Interesting, Jim, on that last play, Hanna pulled and he trapped to the bubble, something the Patriots don't do that often. They're not a great trapping team. They have that huge offensive line averaging about 270 pounds, and they are power blockers, straight ahead blockers. Whereas a team like the Pittsburgh Steelers is a great finesse trap blocking team. The Patriots aren't noted for that. Obviously, they think they can do something here against St. Louis.
You heard the crowd roaring. They were responding to some of the scores which you were seeing. You saw what Cincinnati was doing to the Browns in Cleveland. And, of course, next week here on CBS, the Bengals and the 49ers. Big battle of division leaders. Running backs for the Patriots now, as it is a New England first down. Vagas, Ferguson, 43, and Cunningham, number 39. Morgan now to the near side. And in motion, that's Toller, the rookie. Cunningham gets the call and just gets a couple. Second down and 8. You know, we were talking about Matt Cavanaugh and Steve Grogan. Cavanaugh is making his 10th pro start here today. his 6th of this season. Now, behind Matt Cavanaugh last year, when the Patriot quarterback situation was still kind of fluctuating, the Patriots were 3-1. That loss was the overtime loss in Miami, but they're 1-4 this year with Matt at the controls. And of course, Brogan has only put 1 win on the board also.
I'm a believer that you can't win with 2 quarterbacks. Look what it did to Richard Todd and Matt Robinson in New York. It practically tore the Jets apart. I think you have to establish one man as a leader at quarterback.
Inside handoff to Cunningham. Just shy of first down yardage goes the big battering ram from USC.
Jim, I am amazed that Sam Cunningham, backs and players like Sam Cunningham, can take a year off and come back and be this effective. John Riggins did it at Washington. He's playing well. It's really a testament to the kind of talent that these backs have, because you're looking at one of the most competitive professions in the world, professional football. Yet he takes a year off. He told us it actually helped his body. He felt strong. He had a chance to heal, and now he's back playing very well.
Those were the season stats on Cunningham. 5 carries, 22 yards, and again, the new record, the all-time Patriot leading ground gainer. 3rd and about the length of the football. They show motion, and they go to their big back, who will be chopped down behind the line of scrimmage. Cunningham did not get close to first down yardage. Eric Williams, the 5-year man from USC. So you got a Trojan chopping down a Trojan there. And what a hit.
Sam LeBam tried to bounce it outside. Too much pursuit by that young and maturing Cardinal defense. Didn't make the first down. I'll tell you who put a good hit. Number 35, Jeff Griffin, came back up to polish him off to prevent him from bouncing outside and making the first down.
Rich Camarillo in there to punt, standing back at about his own 35-yard line. Stump Mitchell awaits the intended punt at his own 18. A very poor kick by Camarillo that goes out of bounds, slicing off his foot at the Cardinal 32-yard line. So St. Louis, 8:51 left to go in quarter number 2, has a 4-point deficit to make up. They scored first on a 44-yard field goal by Neil O'Donohue. The Patriots came right back and answered that with a touchdown drive. There's your score. We'll be right back.
Eddie boy, anything else we can do? I mean, what? Settle down from the beginning. Okay, just want to recap. Well, certainly the Patriots, excuse me, go ahead. The Pats defense has been so maligned this year that maybe they're fed up and they're actually rising to the occasion. Of course, O.J.'s absence also contributes to that.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Cardinals offensive huddle, an 18-yard punt. Gives them excellent field position at the 32-yard line. The stats on Neil Lomax this afternoon, the rookie having a hot hand early. Still the Cardinals trail it by 4. Again, O.J. Anderson back in there, fumbles the football, scoops it back up like a basketball. Chased out of bounds by Rod Choate. So the Cardinals, whose last drive stalled, put their money back. O.J. Anderson back in there. And he looked pretty healthy on that run.
He sure did. That's a new move. We haven't seen O.J. use dribble and go to the hoop that well before. He certainly did it. Lucky to get that bounce right back up into his hands.
The Packers have scored against the Vikings. It was all Minnesota early, 14-0. You see also the Redskins have scored now against Buffalo. The Bills led that 14-0. So it's Minnesota 14, Green Bay 7. Harlan Huckabee a 1-yard run for the Packers. Wide receivers left and right. Cardinals look at second down and 3. Morris stacked up by the middle defensive front for the New England Patriots. Maybe gets back to the 40-yard line. It'll bring up 3rd and 2 and an interesting call. You know, we expected this huge offensive explosion. Each team scored on their initial possession to put 7-3 score on the board that we have right now. Since that time, early in the first quarter, John, absolutely nothing. The New England Patriot defense, much maligned, has been playing very well.
And that's really a credit to Ron Earhart for getting them ready, and certainly guys like Julius Adams, who people have said has dropped off tremendously after a great year last year. Number 85, the 10-year pro out of Texas Southern, is playing very well. And so is John Lee, number 66, who was recently acquired about 2 weeks ago.
Flood formation of right side. O.J. Anderson will get the first down if they give him his forward progress. He got it down to the 42-yard line. It'll just depend on where they spot the ball. Ray Hamilton, the 9-year veteran from Oklahoma, and his former Sooner teammate Rod Choate, a 6-year man, in there to make the hit on O.J. We'll have to have the chains brought out, I believe, for this one, and see where they spot the ball. You can see the linesman there wearing some earmuffs. It was about 35 degrees at game time. First down, St. Louis. O.J. indeed pick it up. Don't forget, coming up later today, the New York Giants and the San Francisco 49ers here on CBS, the second half of our doubleheader game. Ray Perkins takes his New York Giants out to San Francisco with a record of 6 wins and 6 losses and still in the playoff hunt. Detroit up their record to 7-6 with that win over Kansas City on Thanksgiving Day. Tampa Bay today is 6-6 going into their game, and Atlanta's 6-6. First 10 St. Louis from the 43-yard line. Philly to the left side. Wayne Morris, quick hitter over the left side. Not much of a hole, and what little there was sealed off very quickly. Steve Nelson, 57, in there on the hit.
Of course, Wayne Morris is the man who's replaced Theodis Brown, who's gone to Seattle, and has done a good job. An excellent blocker, the 6th man out of SMU.
Theodis was a very good friend of Ottis Anderson. Apparently there's a problem with the scoreboard clock, which now reads 4 minutes and 59 seconds. We're talking about O.J. Anderson and Theodis being very good friends. Took Ottis Anderson a while when he looked around that huddle to realize his good buddy wasn't there.
Yeah, it's amazing him talking about it.
Stadium clock, 4:59, is correct now.
You heard the official. The stadium clock is correct. 4:59 left to go in the half. But yes, O.J. looking around for his good buddy. They had that radio show together, and he was like a brother. He said he loved that man, and when he left, it left a hole in his life. But I think now he kind of realized that Theodis is doing well out there, and that he's doing well here, and the team is coming on. So it may have been for the best.
Backs are Anderson and Morris. Lomax looks at 2nd and 8. Got a man wide open. Morris coming out of the backfield down at the 50-yard line, shy of first down yardage. Golick on the hit, the 3rd-year former Irishman for Notre Dame, helped out by Steve Nelson. So it'll bring up 3rd down and 2 for Lomax and company. Cardinals are on the short end of a 7-3 score right now. 4:20 and counting left in the first half. Again, all the scoring very early in the first quarter. Cardinals a 44-yard field goal by Neil O'Donohue, and the Patriots drove it down on their initial possession and scored when Cunningham plunged over from 1 yard out. Mel Gray to the near side, Tilly to the top of your screen. Backs again are Anderson and Morris. Blitz again. The release, and a flag was thrown, not on that hit, but there is a penalty flag back at the 45-yard line of the New England Patriots. Timmy Fox, the man that came up and put the muscle on.
Interesting play there. Smart play by Lomax. He read the blitz. He dropped it off to O.J. Tim Fox, equally intelligent in his defensive play, came up to try and make the interception, bumped into O.J., and we'll listen to the call right now.
56, offside, decline, interference, number 48, accepted, first down. Right up there, Rob. Where's he?
Watch Ron Choate. He gets a big jump to try and get the rush. You can't see him, but he does. Lomax reads well. He sees the blitz. He gets rid of it in a hurry. As Choate is bearing down on him. O.J. about to make the catch. Fox comes up, bumps him, and that's the penalty they took. They had the option. They took that penalty right there.
The officials are still having a discussion, so we have not heard the last from Fred Silva on this particular series of plays. Cardinals, of course, very much alive as far as a wild card situation is concerned, with a record of 5-7. And I was surprised at Jim Hannafin's honesty last night when we were talking to him. He said there is no question about it. If we can win our remaining games, we will be in the playoffs.
In the remaining games, they play New Orleans next week, the Giants the following week, and a tough season closer against the Eagles on December 20th. But yes, they do have a shot at winning their final 3 games.
Well, if the Cardinals could win their remaining 4 games, they would finish with a record of 9-7, and Hannafin feels that'll be good enough to be one of the wild card representatives in the NFC. Of course, Dallas is 10-3 right now after that Thanksgiving Day win, a narrow escape.
1 yard beyond the line, out to the flag. First down.
You heard the dispute there. It was beyond. Pass interference cannot be behind the line of scrimmage. That was 1 yard beyond the line of scrimmage, so the penalty stands.
So the Cardinals will get a break and keep this drive alive. 3:56 left to go in the first half. St. Louis down 7-3 to the Patriots here at Foxborough. Neil Lomax, a good afternoon. Gray to the right side. Tilley to the top of your screen. Looks for Tilley. Got him right on the button down at the 35 of New England. You can't throw the ball any better than Neil Lomax just did. Roland James was there on the coverage, but that ball was thrown on a rope. 14 yards and a first down, St. Louis.
Excuse me, Jim. You have to like the call. Play action fake. It's first down, 1st and 10. Lomax puts the ball up, completes it perfectly. You see the zip on the ball right there. That's the man. Pat Tilley takes it out of bounds for the first down.
Tilley, 5 catches, 76 yards here this afternoon. Tilley had 5 catches against the Colts last week.
You see his presence of mind as he goes out of bounds to look down. He feels the sideline, get to get his both feet in for the first down.
Tilley came in with 49 catches, 784 yards, averaging about 16 yards of completion. His longest was 75 yards, and he scored 3 touchdowns. 1st and 10 Cardinals. That play looked like a lot more than it was.
I was going to say.
A little misdirection in O.J., and it didn't fool anybody.
Even O.J. can't make it out of that. They were coming with some linebackers. Ron Schote was keeping containment on the outside, something you have to do against a team with a young quarterback like Neil Lomax. O.J. couldn't break it outside, cut back inside, ran into traffic, didn't get much.
Nelson and Golick stayed at home and made the hit. 2nd down and 10, 3:20 and counting first half. Morris checks out now. And let's see if they go with an additional wide receiver. It'll be Roy Green, number 25, a 3rd-year man from Henderson. As they show flood formation to the left side. And now Leo Lomax sees something in that New England defense which he didn't like. They'll alter the play call. There is timeout on the field with a score. The Patriots, protecting that 4-point lead, will return.
Game for the 1981 football.
You hear that? What is that?
That's the stadium announcer, I believe. Or maybe it's a press box.
Ed Gorin, Arturo Frias.
Okay.
Next week, CBS Sports Saturday brings you more great championship boxing. Power puncher Claude Noel defending his WBA lightweight crown for the first time against tough young Arturo Frias. Be ringside with us next week live here on CBS Sports, right after that Kentucky-Ohio State NCAA basketball game. All on CBS Sports Saturday. Second down, 10 yards to go for the Cardinals. Plunge to the left side, same formation. This is Tilley in motion to the near side. Lomax looking left, firing left, wide open. The big tight end, Greg LaFleur, the rookie out of LSU. Brought down by Bob Golick. And now tempers flaring down inside the 25-yard line. Hannafin likes this tight end, Greg LaFleur. The Eagles had no place to play him. They had Keith Krefley, big number 88, and the youngster out of Yale, John Spagnola. And the Eagles had to let him go. Cardinals picked up quite a grab.
He was certainly a lifesaver for the Cardinals because they have a fine tight end in number 87, Doug Marsh, who's on injured reserve. He was their number 2 draft choice, 1980. They thought they were set at tight end. with Combs and with Combs and Doug Marsh. But Marsh goes down, look for their pickup, and he's proved to be a real fine steal for them from Philadelphia.
Saints go ahead on a 2-yard touchdown pass Manning to Larry Hardy. New Orleans could certainly nail down playoff hopes of Tampa Bay in the opposite direction. Lomax out of the pocket, floats one, incomplete. Intending it for number 85, that's Mel Gray, on a crossing pattern. Nice touch by Lomax, who had to get rid of the ball as he was chased out of the pocket, and he just misfired by ever so slightly. Roland James was back there in the coverage, and it'll bring up 4th down. And let's see if they'll try another O'Donohue field goal.
And what impressed me about Lomax on that time, he kept his presence of mind, kept looking downfield, came to Mel Gray late, didn't scramble. I mean, that's a tendency for a young quarterback to scramble too soon.
O'Donohue from the 45. He is 2 out of 8 between the 40 and the 49. Got plenty of toe in it. That would have been good from 65 yards out. He had the wind at his back, and O'Donohue has 6. The Patriots have 7. All St. Louis could muster so far has been 2 field goals. We're at the 2-minute warning. The Patriots will get the ball, and they've got all 3 timeouts with which to work. Again, the 2-minute warning, so when we come back, the Patriots, anticipating a Cardinal kickoff, the Patriots have a 1-point lead. We'll return.
Do you want to try to get the 815-pound wedge of Hannah, Brock, and Holloway? You do. See them right there, the 3 of them together. Hannah in the middle, Holloway. 25-yard line. 25-yard line, the red guys. See him?
Jim Kelly, John Dockery back live at Foxborough, Massachusetts. The Patriots protecting a 1-point lead. They got a touchdown. The Cardinals have 2 field goals, and we're just about set to go again. Tony Collins, the rookie, back deep. O'Donohue to tee it up from the 35. This time a great kick with the wind at his back. There should be no return as Collins takes it out of the end zone. So the Patriots start 1st and 10 from their own 20. All 3 timeouts and 2 minutes left on the clock. The Browns, the Cardiac Kids, trying to come back against the Bengals. Cleveland has just gotten 7 points. A 30-yard touchdown pass from Brian Sipe to feature. And the Jets have added a field goal, 21 yards out by Pat Leahy, a commanding 13-0 lead over the 1-11 Colts of Baltimore. At halftime, all the highlights and scores. Brent Musburger, Irv Cross, the NFL Today. And of course, Jack Whitaker will have another one of his excellent features on the legends of the game. But this one, well, it's a stadium. It's a legend. Memorial Metropolitan Stadium in Bloomington. Matt Cavanaugh at the controls. Cunningham and Ferguson are the running backs. Look out. Dumps it off to Cunningham, and down he goes. The grasp for big number 73, defensive tackle out of Arizona, Mike Dawson, 6'4", 270. Dawson's got great speed to stay with Cunningham looping out of the backfield like that, John.
Well, they believe in Dawson. I mean, he was their #1 draft choice in 1976, and he may be their best defensive lineman. Certainly, they're a little bit handicapped today, St. Louis is, with Bob Pollard out. He has a possible stomach problem. He's in the hospital, didn't make the trip, as did Lee Nelson. He's got some kind of a flu or infection. So that defensive unit, that maturing, growing defensive unit for St. Louis, is without 2 of their better players, Pollard and Nelson.
Collins has replaced Ferguson now in the backfield for the New England Patriots, letting the clock wind down. This is the rookie with the ball up to the 25, near the 26-yard line, and the clock continues to tick away. Patriots have all 3 timeouts, and apparently the Pats are content to sit on this 1-point lead and not make any mistakes right now, leading at 7-6. The Redskins have just tied up the Buffalo Bills, 14 all. A 25-yard touchdown pass from Joe Theismann to Art Monk. So after Buffalo went ahead 14-0, John Riggins, teammate of John Dockery with the New York Jets, punched it in from 2 yards out. Theismann to Monk and they're not at 14 all.
And certainly Buffalo going into the game at 7-5 needs a win because of that wild card spot. Certainly Pittsburgh, Kansas City, San Diego all fighting for that spot. And a loss today would be devastating to Buffalo.
From the shotgun, Cavanaugh can run if he can get out of the pocket. Now he will just dive forward. He'll be about a yard shy of first down yardage. And you can hear the disgruntled fans here at Foxborough, even though their team is ahead by a point, not too happy with this last possession. Timeout down on the field with the score. The Patriots 7, the Cardinals 6. 15 seconds left in the first half. We'll return.
Camarillo comes in with a punting for the Patriots.
Eddie, do you have any idea what we're doing at halftime yet? Will we throw to New York? Will we fill? Will we go on camera? We don't know.
Updated score in the second quarter. Buffalo 14, Washington 14.
Cardinals have one timeout remaining. Stump Mitchell, Willer Harold are back deep, anticipating this punt. The last time he sliced it off the right side of his foot. It was good for only 18 yards. Cards would like to get a big return and get back into field goal position again. Into the wind. A high, wobbly kick. They signal for the fair catch, and it takes a New England bounce. So with just 2 seconds left on the clock, Neil Lomax will come up, and let's see how Jim Hannafin wants to play it. A 29-yard punt. Let's see if Lomax will throw deep or they'll just simply run out the clock, trailing by a point.
One of the strong points recently for the New England Patriots has been Rich Camarillo, who is averaging 46 yards coming into the game. Against Buffalo, he kicked over 50 yards of punt. Today he's having a miserable day, averaging somewhere around 25 to 30 yards of punt.
Well, here come all the offensive weapons onto the field at once. Lomax, Tilley, Gray, and Roy Green. You can bet they'll flood one side of the field.
You can bet they watched the films last week against Buffalo, Roland Hooks catching that ball in the end zone for the victory.
Timmy Fox is all the way back at about the 18-yard line playing center field. 6 defensive backs in there now for the Patriots, anticipating the home run ball by Neil Lomax. They flood the left side. Everybody's streaking down. And Lomax finds no one to throw to. Chased out of bounds by number 66 for the Patriots, John Lee, 6-year man from Nebraska. Big defensive end, 6'2", 260, and still growing. So there's your score at halftime. The Patriots have a touchdown. The Cardinals have 2 touchdowns. And, you know, the game started off, as we expected, an offensive explosion. Cardinals take the very opening kickoff. They drive down. They get a 44-yard field goal by Neil O'Donohue. They lead 3-0. The Patriots come back. They put together a nice drive of their own. Sam Cunningham goes over from 1 yard out. It's 7-3 early in the first quarter. It's 7-3 at the end of the first quarter and midway through the second until Neil O'Donohue bangs one through the uprights from 45 yards out with the wind at his back. 7-6. So certainly not the offensive show that both coaches expected we would have. Each one told us, John, they expected they would have to put 30 points on the board to stay in the football game.
That's the thing, Jim. You plan all week long. You watch all of these films. You get a game plan. You figure, you think you know what you're going to do, and yet it changes.
Jim Kelly, John Dockery back here at Schaefer Stadium in Foxborough. Kind of a surprising first half. Not at all the offensive explosion that we had expected. New England has to be very pleased. The Patriots do. They played mistake-free football. That's something they haven't done. The Cardinals, Neil Lomax, a great first half. 12 out of 17. He moved the club, but they can't crack the end zone.
He hasn't been. He's thrown for 146 yards, Jim. And I think the most revealing statistic is that O.J. Anderson has carried the ball 13 times for 34 yards, only averaging 2.5 yards a carry against a defense coming into this game that was worst against the rush in the NFL. An inspired performance by the Patriot defense. O.J. Anderson and Lomax will try him again. The second half, we're just about ready to kick off. Jim, let's take it down to the field.
Neil O'Donoghue will tee it up at the 35-yard line. Dropping back deep for the New England Patriots, Stanley Morgan, wide receiver, kick returner extraordinaire. Patriots 7, Cardinals 6. Neil O'Donoghue 2 field goals, one from 44, the other from 45 yards out. And it has been not the kind of a football game that both the coaches had expected. They both said last night, as we met them separately before and after dinner, that they each thought that they would have to put 30 points on the board to be in this football game. 7-6 at halftime. It's not over yet. We could still see that offensive explosion as O'Donoghue races forward and kicks it away. Clean field at the 15. Across the 30-yard line with it. That's Kenny Toller, the rookie from Mississippi, 7th-round draft pick from 1981. As you take a look, John, at those first-half statistics, first downs in almost every department, it's been all St. Louis, and yet they've only got 2 field goals.
What's interesting is that St. Louis has had the ball almost twice as many plays in the first half. As you look at it there, 41 plays for St. Louis versus 22 for the Patriots, yet they haven't been able to put it in the end zone. Patriots lead by 1 point.
Running backs Ferguson and Cunningham, 1st and 10 from the 30-yard line. Off tackle goes Sam Bam Cunningham, former USC Trojan, picks up about 3, 2nd down and 7. And time of possession, very important, also in that first half. Don Schwartz, number 48, in there on the tackle for the Cardinals. Schwartz is in there replacing Lee Nelson, the 6-year veteran out of Florida State.
Interesting what Hart said about Sam the Bam Cunningham. There are some athletes who just want to be the best at their positions. Sam Cunningham is one of those guys. If there's a play that's designed to get 4 or 5 yards, he wants 7 or 8. He has that kind of desire to be the best at his position.
Opening moments of the third quarter. Hasselbeck in motion to the near side. Cavanaugh needs 7 over the middle. Got his crossing man. Harold Jackson, first down and more. Jackson fighting to get up close to midfield, down at the 48-yard line. Cavanaugh, who was 6 out of 10 in the first half, fired that one right on the money, a 13-yard pickup. Schwartz and Green back there on the coverage.
Harold Jackson has been one of the best for 14 years in the NFL, 10 with the ramp. Watch his quick step right here to get the extra yardage. Side steps the linebacker, takes it upfield for a few extra yards. Harold Jackson, one of the best in the game, even at age 35.
Harold, a 14-year veteran out of Jackson State, came over to the Patriots in a trade back in 1978 with the LA Rams. Vagas Ferguson, what a block Cunningham threw. Cunningham just cleared out the right side with a tremendous block up at about the 50-yard line. Ken Green finally came up to make the hit on Vagas Ferguson. Dave Aarons, the middle linebacker, helping out. But what a hit Cunningham threw on that left side linebacker, Stafford Mays.
If you look at Harold Jackson, top active receiver in the NFL, 3rd in reception yardage behind Don Maynard and Lance Ulrich. Some fast company for Harold Jackson.
2nd down and 3. 12:59 early in the third quarter. Patriots by a point. Same play this time for rookie Collins, and he's got a first down and more inside the 33, mark at the 32-yard line of the Cardinals. Kenny Green, his 3rd successive stop on the play. And obviously the Patriots see something in the first half that makes them feel they can run on that right side, a 13-yard pickup. And again, Hanna was pulled, number 73, and the big guy from Alabama threw a tremendous block.
Tony Collins reminds me of Emerson Boozer, that same kind of slashing runner. Ducks inside, takes it outside, gets the first down.
He might have a little bit more speed than Emerson.
Possibly, although Emerson in his early years had some really fine speed.
Boozer had a little more bulk.
A little more bulk. After you get hit for 8 or 10 years, you tend to slow down a step or two. Collins is only a rookie.
Morgan and Jackson. They fake the end around, set up the screen. Cunningham blocked by John Hanna. Look out. The former Trojan from USC all the way down to the 20-yard line of the Cardinals. Jeff Griffin, the rookie in Utah, out there to make the hit. 12-yard carry for Cunningham. All sorts of motion. And don't think the Patriots aren't setting something up for later.
Exactly. Sophisticated offensive football. He fakes it to Cunningham, fakes the reverse to Morgan, throws the screen to Cunningham, gets a good block, as you said, out in front of him. That's John Hanna. Who else? Cunningham makes some yards on his own. First down pass.
Cavanaugh now, 8 out of 12, 130 yards. New England has the game's only touchdown. St. Louis has a pair of field goals. Eric Williams is out, number 55. He was the man blocked on the play by John Hanna. Charles Baker, second-year man from New Mexico, 52, has stepped in. 12 minutes in the third quarter. Slot to the right side. Collins, the rookie, behind a block by Cunningham. Cuts back against the grain into the 15-yard line, but a flag on the play, thrown all the way across the field, back at about the 22-yard line. Cardinals are indicating holding against the New England Patriots, and they're pointing at Sam Cunningham.
The team that usually wins a football game is the team that can make the adjustments midstream. And it is holding against, as you see the referee there. Apparently the Patriots went into the locker room, saw some things they could exploit against St. Louis, came out scheming. You get the feeling they had the momentum until this penalty.
Offense, number 39. Holding, first down.
Cardinals pointed to the culprit, Sam Cunningham. That's referee Fred Silva. Packers coming back against Minnesota. It was 14-0 in favor of the Vikings. Now Green Bay has scored twice in a row. They are tied 14-all just before halftime. There you just see in the right-hand side of your screen Sam Cunningham, who was called for holding. 7-6 New England, 11:48 left to go in the third quarter. Slap to the left side from the shotgun, 1st and 20. Cavanaugh pulls down the high snap, ran into his own offensive lineman, and that's Charles Baker who made the force, chasing Cavanaugh out of the pocket.
Watch the tail end of this play. I think it's interesting that number 74, Shelby Jordan, tries to hold up Cavanaugh after he's being taken down. Ducks under, a big rush there. But watch Shelby Jordan trying to help him up, get him back on his feet to make extra yardage. Doesn't work.
Second sack in the football game for the Cardinals. Again, they've got those good, young, active linebackers in there in the Cardinal defense. Eric Williams tried to step in. Calvin Favron was not in because of an injury. And now, with Eric Williams out, Charles Baker has gone in. Dave Aarons, number 58, the middle linebacker for the Cardinals, and E.J. Jr. on the right side. Now Matt Cavanaugh asks for a timeout. You can see that 30-second clock winding down, so the Patriots have used one timeout. Will return. It's a good game. Nothing you can do down there, Bobby. Is it going all right from your end, Bob, or? You got the Washington Buffalo score? Roland Hooks, a 4-yard touchdown run before that gave Buffalo a 14-0 lead. The Skins came back to tie. Hooks has just carried it in from 18 yards out, and the Bills go up on top by a 21-14 count. Second down, 28 yards to go. Again, they show the shotgun. Wide receivers left and right over the middle. Cunningham coming out of the back. Now, that can't be Cunningham. Check it. That's Andy Johnson, number 32, the 7-year man from Georgia.
So much like Don McCauley, that designated third down pass receiver, a second and long, as in that situation. Coming into the game, when you look at Andy Johnson's stats, you see he's only carried the ball 2 times for 1 yard, yet coming out of the backfield coming in, he had 34 catches for almost 400 yards. He's excellent out of the backfield, Andy Johnson.
He is so versatile. 7 out of 7 passing coming in. 4 of those 7 completions were for touchdowns. He missed on his first throw this afternoon. Again, the shotgun. They need 22. Cavanaugh. Offensive line worked well. Now scramble for it. Pull it down and look out. He's got to get out of bounds. You can't risk getting injured because Grogan is out with a knee injury. At least he gets them down into field goal range. Bruce Radford, third-year man from Grambling, 6'5", 260, a free agent, number 79. The man that made the initial force and chased young Matt Cavanaugh out of the pocket.
It's interesting, if Cavanaugh did go down, Grogan, they don't want to play. He does have a knee injury. But Tom Owen, who's been in the league for 8 years out of Wichita State, a very competent third quarterback. Few teams have a third quarterback of his ability and his experience.
Came over to them in a trade with the San Francisco 49ers back in '76. Cavanaugh will hold. John Smith will attempt from the 29, make it a 39-yard shot for Smith, well within his range. Wind at his back, snap, spot, kick, no good. Wide to the left side. So Smith misses wide to the left. It could have increased the Patriot advantage, but it stands 7-6. 10-21. The Cardinals get the football back and escape undamaged. St. Louis trails by 1. Will return in 1 moment.
He usually wears a baseball cap. Okay, we might talk a little bit, yeah.
You coming back with any scores, Ed? Okay. Yep.
Boo.
Freeman McNeil, a 30-yard touchdown run to put the Jets out in front 7-0. He's added another from 1 yard out. The kick never got off the ground. A poor snap. Jets 19, Baltimore nothing. Cardinals from the I formation. Lomax back at the control. Ottis Anderson, there he goes. Choate made the initial hit along with Steve Nelson. Maybe a pickup of 2 yards for O.J. Anderson. 2nd down and 8. There's an upset in the Superdome. The Saints leading 14-0 over Tampa Bay. And you look at the former 16-year veteran out of Southern Illinois, Jimmy Hart. You talked to him before the game. He would still like to play a lot of football.
Feels he can play a lot of football. Was having a decent year, completing 54% of his passes, 56% with 11 touchdowns. So Jim Hart does not want to finish it out as a coach or a mentor. He wants to play somewhere. I mean, the man is a legend. He's 3rd in the NFL in attempts and history, 4th in yards, passing, 3rd in completions, 8th in touchdowns. The man wants to play and feels he can.
Ottis Anderson again runs right into a wall. That time the hole simply wasn't there, as the Patriot defense, doing a good job keying on Anderson, shut that one off. Now, previously, Ottis had 14 carries for 36 yards. That time he got another yard, so he's 15 carries, 37 yards. He'd like to carry it about 25 times a game, if it's not one of those tough defensive games. In other words, if you're playing the Pittsburgh Steelers, the Buffalo Bills, if you're getting banged around pretty good, he'd like to carry it about 10, 12 times.
Yeah, most backs like to get some kind of a rhythm, and that means carrying the ball over 15, 20 times a game. O.J. is in that kind of a group. They'll carry it 25, 30 if necessary.
Lomax, 12 out of 17, will go for it on 3rd and 6. Looks for the safety valve. It's down. John Lee, 66, just picked up by the Patriots. Had a strong game 1 week ago. In fact, he had 12 solo tackles, a couple of assists, and 1 sack. John Lee, and that's the 2nd sack for the New England Patriots.
And John Lee is not a rookie. He's been in the league 6 years. As you said, he backed up Freddie Dean and Leroy Jones and San Diego and did a very good job. And they were lucky to get him. San Diego tried to slip him by on waivers Monday night when they were playing Seattle. The New England Patriots said, we'll take him. He was in uniform last week and had a terrific game, playing well again today.
Stanley Morgan, 86, back deep. Carl Birdsong will punt it away for the Cardinals. Into the wind, and this one hangs up high. You can see the wind bring it back. Morgan will look into the sun and let the Cardinals down it at their own 48-yard line. That ball took off, and the wind brought it back a good 7 or 8 yards. So when we come back, the Patriots enjoying good field position after that 29-yard punt will break 1st and 10, leading by a point. I think I was saying then you should get one of these.
Right.
Save them. Patriots by a point. 8:14 left to go in the third quarter. Matt Cavanaugh has completed his last 5 passes in a row. He's 9 of 13, 137 yards. Morgan left side, Jackson to the right side. On the handoff, he fakes it inside to Ferguson. Man wide open. Jackson inside the 30, 25, down to the 20-yard line. Wrestled out of bounds. 30-yard pass completion. Matt Cavanaugh now has completed his last 6 in a row. Wrestled out by Kenny Green.
Excellent offensive strategy. Crossing pattern against the zone. He had Hasselbeck open. He had Jackson open. He finds him coming across, completes it. Jackson makes a nice run after catching the ball. First down.
And again, Harold Jackson came into this game, 26 completions, 480 yards, averaging about 18.5 yards a completion. His longest for 45 yards, but a big gaping number up there in the chart, John. No touchdowns, and Harold Jackson not happy about that.
And he's making up for it today.
First and 10, Patriots. 1-point lead, 7-6. Cardinals have 2 field goals. Collins in the backfield. Play action again. Wide open. Fumbles the ball. Out of bounds. He had possession last. New England retains possession.
New England gets a break, and well deserved after you consider the season they've had. Hasselbeck, when you look at it, Russ Francis leaves, Hasselbeck takes over. He's having a great year. Here he comes across. He had 40 receptions coming into the game. That's more than Russ Francis ever had. Here he coughs up the ball, takes a good hit by number 48, Don Schwartz. Ball bounces out of bounds. Patriots get a break.
Schwartz, a free agent out of Washington State, replacing the injured Lee Nelson. Jim Hannafin said last night, we don't know how good Schwartz is or how good he can be for us yet, but we like him. He's a tough kid, good attitude, coachable, and he's a hitter. He's right there. Vagas Ferguson behind a wall of blocking, slithers down inside the 5-yard line. First down, New England.
Well, this must be a nice feeling for Vagas Ferguson. He's missed the first 5 games of the year with a right ankle problem. I mean, the joke around New England was Las Vegas. Where is he? After a great year last year, you see the graphic. He led the Patriots in rushing. Hasn't had much of a year. Tony Collins has taken up the thunder, but Vegas the last couple of weeks doing a super job. There he got the first down.
Very impressive drive by the Patriots. They started at the 49 of the Cardinals. 7:20 and counting left in the third quarter. New England knocking on the door, and they've got a 1-point lead. Slot formation to the left side. Collins and Cunningham are the running backs. Handoff. Collins behind the Cunningham block. Cunningham through the block at the 7 to spring him. Hannafin, he opened up a big hole, and Collins knifed his way through. New England goes up on top once again.
Key rule for a running back, stay with your friends. That lead blocker, your offensive line. Collins does that, gets some good blocking up front. He just squirts through here for his 7th touchdown of the year.
You see 75 throwing a block in there for New England. As they turn it around, that's Bob Kreider. You also take another look. Watch the block as Hasselbeck holds his man on the line of scrimmage. And then Schwartz comes up, number 48, on the corner. And he is injured for the Cardinals now. There's Hasselbeck holding the block. Kreider comes up there, and there goes number 33. Collins just diving on down.
Good cutback for the touchdown. He picked the right spot.
Don Schwartz is still down at about the 9-yard line for the Cardinals. The point after attempt when we return.
Do you want to lead to that, Eddie? Okay, fine. Jim, you want to just sort of jump on him and I'll take it, and I asked him before the game whether he could accept the backup.
Okay.
Okay, if you sort of... Okay.
They may have to use Green, huh?
Uh-huh. Who was that?
Schwartz. We're going to do it before the kick or after? Don Schwartz, the free agent safety, has been led off the field for the St. Louis Cardinals. They're attending to him while we attempt the extra point for John Smith. Out of the hold of Matt Cavanaugh. Snap is high, and the kick is blocked. It was a high snap. Cavanaugh had to pull it down. That disrupted the timing, so the Cardinals get a break. And that's a big one, John, because right now the Patriots have a 7-point lead. St. Louis, with the touchdown and the conversion, could tie it up, and maybe that as you hear the crowd responding, is the beginning of the cave-in, what Ron Earhart and the Patriot coaching staff fears is going to happen every week, that costly mistake, whatever form it comes in.
And after a while, when it's happening to you week in and week out, you start to expect it. You start to wonder when it's going to happen. When is it going to fall in? A simple thing like an extra point, something you should make, block, leaves the St. Louis within a touchdown. So you start to think that way negatively. High
snap from center. A 51-yard field goal by Bill Capice, and Tampa Bay has finally gotten on the board against New Orleans. It's 14-3, Saints over the Bucs. New Orleans with a record of 4-8, playing out on pride, much as the Patriots are doing here this afternoon. But that could be a disastrous loss. If Tampa Bay should lose, they would then drop to 6-7. As you watch John Smith approach the football, Stump Mitchell lets it hit. Specialty teams of the Patriots a little slow getting down there. Stump Mitchell gets outside, needs one block to break it big. He's got a wall in front of him to the 30, across the 30, down he goes at the 33-yard line. He needed one block to turn the corner and break it big. Bob Golick from Notre Dame, the third-year veteran, in there on the tackle. So Neil Lomax, a second-round draft pick out of Portland State, the rookie at the controls, comes out and brings his team out 1st and 10. There is Jim Hart, John, on the sideline. A man that, well, can he accept being a backup?
You know, I talked to Jim Hart before the game, 16 years in St. Louis, part of the franchise. I asked him before the game whether he could accept the role as backup. We'll get to that in a moment.
It would be a much tougher situation to accept with the St. Louis football Cardinals, being that I've been the starter for so long. It would be something that I'd have to really think about a long while. I think it would be easier to accept a backup role with another football team.
You look at the man that has temporarily taken his job away, Neil Lomax, completing that little swing pass out to Wayne Morris out of the backfield. And again, you could see the anticipation, John, of a Neil Lomax. He thought better of it, but he really wanted to run the football. He saw an awful lot of room out there, and he saw a blocker in front, but he said, wait a minute, the coach has been hammering it into me all season long, and especially since I've been given the starters rule now. Don't run with the football. Don't risk the injury.
And I think Neil Lomax would be like to be that classic drop-back passer, much like Jim Hart, who he admires very much. And he's trying to work on that, avoiding the scrambling.
Stump Mitchell, Wayne Morris in the backfield. Notably absent number 32, O.J. Anderson. Morris gets a nice block from Stump Mitchell. He takes it into Patriot territory all the way down to the 48. That's a Cardinal first down. What a great block by Stump Mitchell to allow him to turn the corner. An 11-yard carry. Tim Fox on the stop.
You know, you always talk about O.J. Anderson. O.J. averaging last month 5.5 yards a carry, but Wayne Morris is certainly a back in his own right. He's averaged over 4 yards a carry in his 84 carries coming into this game. So Wayne Morris is adding some balance to that running attack for the Cardinals.
O.J. Anderson missing for the moment. 13 carries, 34 yards in the first half. 13-6. Patriots by a touchdown and a conversion. O.J. back in there. He breaks it big. Another first down for the Cardinals. And look at the big back from Miami in his third year. Keep the legs churning. It took all of Ray Claiborne and others to help finally bring Anderson down. Another first down, a 16-yard scamper for O.J. Anderson. Another look.
You look at O.J. Anderson, you wonder who he's like in the NFL. And Ron Earhart, I think, put his finger on it when he said O.J. is a large Tony Dorsett. Speed, quickness, power.
Good.
We asked O.J. who he thought he was like, and he says, you know, every once in a while, I feel flashes of O.J. Simpson.
O.J. Anderson now, 16 carries, 54 yards. Roy Green in the backfield for the Cardinals, out wide to the left side. Pat Tilley flanked out to the right side. O.J. again, this time nothing doing. The middle of that Patriot defense just stands him right up. Interesting, we're talking to O.J., and we said, give us one word to describe yourself.
Yeah.
A big grin crossed his face, and he said, elusive, ... That's O.J.
Punctuation mark.
That's right.
That is O.J. Elusive, but also with power to run over people, though he'd prefer not to run over them if he could help it. And it's interesting, you know, in the 17 games that O.J. has gained 100 yards or better, the Cards are 9-8. So it's important that O.J. contribute well to the Cardinal offense for them to be victorious.
4:08 and counting, third quarter. Pat Tilley wide to the left side. High formation, Morris and O.J. in there. Second down, 8 yards to go. O.J. has a cutaway on the right side. Gets through inside the 25, down to the 23-yard line, and close to first down yardage. Steve Nelson, 57. Ray Claiborne in there on the hit. The Jets go ahead 22-0 over the Colts. Pat Leahy, his third field goal of the afternoon. This one from 28 yards out. and it's the Jets 22, Baltimore nothing. So Walt Michael and company, and boy, Walt's head was on the chopping block for a while. As you look at O.J. going off very slowly, looks like he is hurt again. It was his left knee before. Walt Michaels, whose head was on the chopping block in New York, they were calling for his firing almost every week early in the New York papers. Now has his team 7-4-1, headed to 8-4-1, putting pressure on Don Shula and the Dolphins, who host the Eagles tomorrow night.
Might be the team that's playing the best football in the NFL at the moment. Nice run.
Stump Mitchell, look out, he's inside the 5, he's close to the goal line, he is down to about the 1-inch line. Roland James, Rick Sanford could not make the stop back at the 6, a 23-yard carry, and the Patriot defense on this drive has been practically non-existent. The Cardinals have been running around that right side. Bostic and Deerdorf, the strength. Stump Mitchell, another look.
Stump Mitchell, not the biggest back in the world at 5'9", 188 pounds, but is strong and has that extra desire. Watch it here. Almost takes it in backwards to the end zone. Just misses.
James hanging on, but Johnny, he had him back at the 11-yard line. He just couldn't throw him down.
Stump Mitchell is averaging 6.5 yards coming into the game. He's one of the total offense leaders in the NFL. So Stump was a steal on the 9th round of 1981 for the Cardinals.
St. Louis for the tying touchdown inside to Wayne Morris. He's got it. And the Cardinals are within a conversion of tying up this football game.
And Jim, you have to be impressed with the Cardinals, okay? The Patriots go on top 13-6. Cardinals come right back with a very impressive drive, most of it on the ground. As you watch here, Morris takes it in from 1 yard out behind a good surge by his offensive line, puts them right back in the game. The extra point can tie it. We have a ball game.
Neil O'Donoghue, a very important extra point try. Don't forget John Smith missed, but there was a high snap that Cavanaugh had difficulty pulling down for the Patriots. We're tied 13-all. That was perfect. So both coaches felt they would have to put 30 points on the board. Right now their teams have put 13 respectively. 2:23 left to go in quarter number 3. The Cardinals and the Patriots deadlocked 13-all.
If you want it, just tell me, and then give me 10 seconds from the time you tell me, and I'll say, you know, I asked Jim Hart some other things, and it's okay. It's picking up. Coming back. Picking up. Let's do it. Let's finish up strong.
Ed, could somebody check on the official yardage of the Tony Collins touchdown run for New England that made it 13-6? Thank you.
The big wedge, 815 pounds worth of it.
Thank you.
Number 338, Tony Collins, for the 5-yard line.
The poise of the St. Louis Cardinals under coach Jim Hannafin, falling behind 13-6, came back on a most impressive drive and have knotted up this football game. Neil O'Donoghue will kick it to either Tony Collins or number 82, Ken Toller. It is Toller with the football, looking for some blocking, trying to get outside, out of bounds at about the 27-yard line. Matt Cavanaugh, the quarterback controls for the Patriots, will come back and see what New England can do with still 2:14 left to go in the third quarter.
Next week, a big game here, San Francisco versus Cincinnati. Two of the teams that have come back. I mean, we talked earlier about teams, you know, like Walt Michaels being on the block early, and yet his team is now playing the best football. Looks like they're going to win the AFC East. These two teams, San Francisco and Cincinnati, not very good last year, now right in the thick of things to win their divisions.
And both teams doing it via the draft route. Bill Walsh doing a fantastic job in San Francisco. Of course, Paul Brown has always been good. Forrest Gregg, a new system there. Over the middle, wide open, and picked off by the Cardinals. Number 37, Kenny Green, comes up with his interception. He had 5 on the year, 3 in one game 2 weeks ago. It was intended for Harold Jackson, and that time Cavanaugh simply misfired. Cardinals coming back strong.
We talked about balls getting away from quarterbacks, fluttering a little bit. Watch Cavanaugh's ball here. Has a little flutter on it. It's overthrown. Jackson was open. Instead, it's intercepted. Number 37, Ken Green, his 6th interception of the year. That's Ken Green, fourth-year man out of Washington State, who makes his 5th interception of the year, and a good one. But Cavanaugh just overthrew Jackson. He was open coming across.
Maybe if we can take one more look at that, I want to ask you a question about Harold Jackson. In the meantime, it's 1st and 10 Cardinals. They have just come back to tie. They get the ball back almost at midfield. Lomax will put it up on 1st down. Comes back against the grain. Got his big tight end, Greg LaFleur. LaFleur, 1st down, St. Louis, inside the 40 of the New England Patriots. Johnny, on that turnover before, you saw how badly the ball was thrown in terms of where the receiver was. As you look at this pass play against the grain to the tight end, Greg LaFleur, once again, isn't it the job of the receiver to give it a little bit more of an effort than we saw Harold Jackson give it and try to prevent the interception? In other words, the offensive player actually becomes the defensive player.
Hard to tell when Harold Jackson was going at top speed whether he could have gotten more of a leap, maybe tipped the ball, gone up for it, and at least distracted the defensive back into dropping the ball. He didn't do it. He was overthrown. Interception. St. Louis got the ball in good position.
Another 1st down for the Cardinals. Wayne Morris got the tying touchdown, gets outside the containment. Turns what looked like nothing into a 3-yard pickup. 2nd down and 7. Golick chased him out of bounds. The 3rd-year man from Notre Dame, helped out by John Lee, 6-year man from Nebraska, number 66. And the Bucs are coming back against the Saints. Tampa Bay, a 16-yard touchdown pass. Doug Williams to Kevin House. You take a look at the wild card battle going on. Detroit with that win against Kansas City on Thanksgiving Day. The Bucs cannot afford a loss. The Giants, who you'll see next against San Francisco, cannot afford to lose. And Atlanta, playing later today, also at 6 and 6. Wide receivers left and right for Lomax. O.J. got some blockers in front of him. 1st down, St. Louis, all the way down at the New England Patriot 25-yard line. Ray Hamilton, 71, a 9-year veteran out of Oklahoma, the man who finally came up. It almost takes somebody that big, 6'1", 245, to bring down an O.J. Anderson, doesn't it?
And you love to watch O.J. He looks like he's gliding along, looks for the hole, then puts it in overdrive and takes it upfield. And at the end of the run, shows how much power he has. I mean, we were talking to O.J. last night. He said, you know, I was given this gift, the ability to run. It's instinctive. I don't have to learn any more about that. What I have to learn more about is being the complete back, catching the ball, running patterns, blocking, faking, and he's doing that.
He's got a great personality. He's got a very infectious grin and laugh.
And a twinkle in his eyes.
He really enjoys this game of football. This time the Patriots may have come up with it. There is a pileup, and the Patriots come away with a turnover after turning it over the 41st time this year. Mike Hawkins, 59, falls on the loose football, and the Patriots get a break.
And the spirits are with the Patriots. Finally, they found their exorcist. Things are going their way. Here's O.J. He's been known to fumble. That's one of the raps on him. He does fumble there. Looked like number 59, Mike Hawkins, might have gotten his hand in there and coughs it up. Patriots come up with it. Number 59, that's Mike Hawkins, a 4th-year man out of Texas A&I.
And I'll tell you, John Lee, 66, was also in there ramming his big frame into it. 26 seconds left to go in the 3rd quarter. The Patriots, after the interception by St. Louis, come up with a turnover of their own. Slot formation to the left side. Cavanaugh, 1st and 10. Vagas Ferguson, flag on the play. Ferguson with all sorts of running room, but this will come back. This will undoubtedly be holding against the Patriots. Roger Worley in pursuit of Vagas Ferguson.
Vegas is making the best of his first start of the year, though that will be negated by a holding penalty. I mean, do you remember Vagas Ferguson at Notre Dame holds all of their all-time rushing records? Just a top-notch back, drafted number 1 in 1980 by the Patriots, and coming back to that old form that he showed last year when he was so good as their leading rusher.
Offense, number 80, holding, 1st down.
That's the tight end, Don Hasselbeck. He checks out, and Lynn Dawson, number 87, the rookie out of North Carolina State, checks in. 18 seconds left to go in the 3rd quarter. Cavanaugh and company now faced with 1st and 21. This is be careful time. Tony Collins gets back 7 of the 21, brings up 2nd down and 14, and that undoubtedly will be the final play of the 3rd quarter. Clock winding down inside of 5. E.J. Jr., the man who made the hit on Tony Collins. That's the end of the 3rd quarter with the score tied. The Patriots 13, the Cardinals 13. We'll be back with the start of the 4th quarter after this word from your local station. Cardinal coach Jim Hannafin, John, felt that a record that had 7 losses on it and maybe 9 wins. A 9-7 record would get you into the playoffs. It could get you a division championship right now. We'll update that NFC Central in just a second. Shotgun on 2nd and 14. Cavanaugh, wide receivers, left and right. Opening play, 4th quarter. We're tied 13 all. Cavanaugh in trouble, and down he goes. Cardinals with the defensive pressure. Curtis Greer, 75, his 2nd year out of Michigan, in there on the hit. That's the 3rd sack this game for the Cardinals defensive front. They've been doing a great job. Minnesota jumped out in front, Johnny, 14-0. Green Bay has come back with 3 straight touchdowns to take a 21-14 lead. Now, the Vikings were 7-5. If they should lose, they would be tied with the Lions, who won on Thanksgiving Day at 7-6. That makes all those teams with 6-6 records very, very hungry for that final wild card spot.
And very important for Tampa Bay to come back to be 7-6 also today.
All right, watch for a little razzle-dazzle now. On 3rd and 19, Andy Johnson in there on the shotgun. Cavanaugh with the straight drop. Looks sideline left. Hits his man, but way shy of first down yardage. That is Andy Johnson. Up near the 27-yard line with a forward thrust, but way shy of first down yardage, and the Patriots will punt. New England came in with a record of 2 wins and 10 losses. In those 2 wins, well, Matt Cavanaugh was at the controls for 1, Steve Grogan for 1. Grogan is the starting quarterback, 1-6. Cavanaugh, 1-4.
I think if you indulge in what might have been, when you realize that they've lost those 10 games by a total of only 64 points, you realize things could have been a lot different up here in New England.
Into the wind, Stump Mitchell will let it hit, and it takes a good Patriot bounce. That cost them about 15 yards. Cardinals will start 1st and 10 from their own 23-yard line. We're talking about the Vikings. They just came back against Green Bay, but they missed the extra point. It's 21-20 Vikings. Here, we're tied 13 all. We'll be right back. Americans that fight? Next week, CBS Sports Saturday brings you more great boxing championship action. Power puncher Claude Noel defending his WBA lightweight crown for the first time against tough young Arturo Frias. Be ringside with us here at CBS Sports next week, live right after that Kentucky-Ohio State NCAA basketball game. All on CBS Sports Saturday. 13:36 left to go in regulation, John Dockery, because we're tied 13 all. Cardinals have it 1st and 10 at their own 24-yard line. Pat Philly, 83, out wide to the left side. Running backs are O.J. Anderson and Wayne Morris. Neil Lomax has gone the whole way.
And as we look at that 13-13 and you allude to the possibility of the overtime, that missed extra point, something as simple as a missed extra point. And Ron Earhart told us 2, 3, 4 plays in a game, if you can take them out and turn them around, it can change your season. Here, an extra point happens again, a play they'd like to have back.
Neil Lomax, 14 of 19, 168 yards. Off play action. Incomplete, looking for number 80, Chris Combs, the 2nd-year man out of New Mexico, free agent, 6'4", 239. That time, Greg LaFleur, the outstanding rookie out of LSU, was not in there. Now, LaFleur has caught 2 passes here this afternoon. Let's see if we can check the Cardinal bench and see if for some reason LaFleur is injured and not in there. Kind of a surprise to see Combs in there when LaFleur has been the starting tight end, the big rookie.
Especially Chris Combs is on this roster because of his fine blocking ability. He's only caught 2 passes for 25 yards, no touchdowns coming into the game. So I'm very surprised to see him go to Chris Combs on that last play.
2nd and 10 from the 24. Setback, O.J. Anderson, Philly to the right side. O.J. gets the call. Down he goes after a pickup of 3. It'll bring up 3rd down and 7. You know, we saw the picture of Ron Earhart. We saw Ron Earhart on our screen a little while ago, whose record here at New England is 21 wins and 23 losses. As we talked to him this weekend, he pointed out what a frustrating season it has been. It's his first losing season as a coach in high school, in college, and in the pros.
Been a very successful coach and prepares. You talk to people around the NFL, you talk to his team, and they tell you we are prepared. We're just not doing. We're not executing, even though we know what to do. Tough situation for Ron Earhart. His job is on the line. The decision, as Chuck Sullivan told us, to be made after the season.
Lomax deploys wide receivers left and right, splits the backs over the middle. He's got Roy Green, and he's got a Cardinal first down. Now, Roy Green is an interesting story, number 25, as he's thrown out of bounds by Mike Hawkins, number 59. Roy Green goes both ways. He plays offense as well as defense, and he's equally effective.
And you watch Roy Green here. He comes in, he turns, makes a, see that 360-degree turn, comes back, almost impossible for a defensive back, because you're in a catch-up position. You can't recover like that and come back across. Roy Green's future, as we talked about last week, is really at the wide receiver position. Jim Hannafin thinks he's going to be really a fine one.
Roy Green was the 3rd leading Cardinal receiver, only behind Pat Tilley and O.J. Anderson. First down, St. Louis, deadlock, 13 all. From the eye, Stump Mitchell turns something into a little something, picks up 3, 2nd down and 7. Don Blackman, the rookie out of Tulsa, 55 with the hit and a flag on the play.
Don Blackman made one heck of a play, warding off the blocker, diving back inside to get a piece of the ball carrier.
It's against the Cardinals. We'll await the call by the referee, Fred Silva.
Offense, number 51, holding. First down.
That's the 9-year veteran from Oklahoma, Tom Brahaney, the center. O.J. Anderson getting a bit of a rest on that last play. 12:31 left to go again in regulation. Stump Mitchell stays in there. Anderson gets a rest, so the other running back is Wayne Morris. 1st and 20. Wayne Morris. Quick hitter over the right side. Bostic and Deerdorf opening up the hole. He gets near the 40-yard line. Dan Deerdorf, 10-year veteran. Did you play against Dan?
Yes, I played against Dan, and you know, Dan certainly was a good friend of Jim Hart's and was very upset when he went to the bench. Dan and Jim have a radio show in St. Louis, and you know, it's kind of affect some of his old friends on the team. I know Pat Tilley was very upset also, but I think they're beginning to rally around Neil Lomax and realizing that the future is with this young man out of Portland State.
From the sounds of things, everybody has a radio show in St. Louis. Lomax, 2nd down and 14. Hangs in the pocket. Wayne Morris with a great catch and a first down inside the 48-yard line of the Patriots. Remarkable catch. And falling away from the ball. Go ahead.
Excuse me, Jim. Why I'm laughing is because when I talked to Jim Hannafin, I said, well, what about your backside of the backfield as receivers? And he said, you know, Wayne Morris isn't a bad receiver, but he's all arms and legs when he catches the ball. And right there you saw it exhibited. He was all arms and legs, but yet made the catch.
14-yard pickup, a key Cardinal first down, 11:41. Clock is stopped as he went out of bounds, tied 13 all. The Patriots 2-10, playing for pride, and the St. Louis Cardinals 5-7, playing hopefully one game at a time for a playoff spot. That's an interesting point. Neil Lomax, 16 of 22, 200 yards now.
0 interceptions, an important statistic.
Wayne Morris goes absolutely nowhere. Just barely got back to the line of scrimmage. In talking with Jim Hannafin, though, realistically about the Cardinals' playoff possibilities, he said, wait a minute, yes, we can make a playoff berth if we win our next 4 games, the coaches feel, but we've got to take them one game at a time because it all starts at Foxborough. If we don't win the Patriots, we're dead.
And I don't think he's using that as a prime motivator for his team. I think he feels like we do and the people in St. Louis that this team is maturing and growing weekly. If they can finish off strong this year with a string of wins and their quarterback develops the way he is developing, then next year it looks very bright for St. Louis Cardinals.
Roy Green out wide to the left side. They show a flood formation. LaFleur is out there as well. O.J. Anderson, the lone setback. Tilley in motion to the near side. 2nd down and 10. Lomax to put it up. Got Anderson wide open over the middle. It's dropped by LaFleur. He would have been shy of first down yardage. O.J. Anderson was wide open over the middle. The linebackers had fallen off. And if Lomax had seen him, it would have been big yardage for O.J. because anytime you can get him in the open field, you've got something going. But it would have come back anyway. Flag, and it's against the Cardinals. Okay, the barrage is on against Baltimore. Pat Leahy, his 4th field goal of the afternoon. This one from 27 yards out. And Walt Michaels has got the Jets cooking now. 7-4-1 their record coming in. They leave Baltimore 25-0.
Illegal motion. Offense, 26. Refuse. 3rd down.
So it'll be 3rd and 10. You've got to feel sorry for poor Mike McCormick in Baltimore.
You really do. I mean, things have come apart in Baltimore. Certainly, the prospects for Mike McCormick's return are very, very poor. I doubt if he'll be back as coach in Baltimore.
One of the class coaches around the NFL. O.J. Anderson, Willard Harrell, the running backs now. Lomax looks at 3rd and 10 and looks over that New England Patriot defense. Slot to the left side. Roy Green again. First down and look out. He is extremely turned on the speed and the afterburners at about the 25 and cut it back against the grain. Ray Claiborne in there on the tackle for the Patriots. That might have been a touchdown-saving tackle. 29 yards and another key Cardinal first down.
Roy Green, strong, tough, good hands, good speed. Watch him make the catch there, using his hands, tucks it away. Excellent runner after he catches the ball, almost breaks it, as you mentioned. It's a touchdown-saving tackle by number 26, Ray Claiborne.
Now, it's interesting. The last 2 Cardinal possessions, they've been doing it on the pass. The Patriots defense, 3rd in the AFC against the pass, last in the conference against the rush. Meanwhile, they've held O.J. Anderson to 76 yards on 21 carries from the I formation. 1st and 10 at the 16-yard line of New England. O.J. Anderson slithers inside the 15-yard line, maybe down to the 14, and tempers flaring over on the far side. As well they might with a team that's 2-10.
2-10, and the frustration level even greater because the expectations coming into this season for the Patriots. When you looked at that AFC East division, Miami only looking like an average team. Yeah, the Jets looked improved. Buffalo was going to be tough, but certainly the New England Patriots were one of the favorites in that division. It's turned out to be a nightmare at 2-10 for them. So you can realize what the frustration is of the players and the fans and the coaches.
2nd down and 8. 13 all, 9:20 and counting, left in regulation. Lomax to O.J. And look at him just run away from the linebackers. Touchdown, St. Louis. O.J. Anderson ran right away from the 2 outside linebackers of the Patriots. A 14-yard touchdown run, and the Cardinals go out in top for the 2nd time in this football game. He explodes.
So smooth, so fluid. He ducks inside, gets a good block from Morris. Breaks outside, runs away from everybody. Look at that. People look like they're standing still, takes it in for the touchdown, makes it look easy.
Ran right away from Bill Matthews, 53, Don Blackmore, 55. Otis Anderson approaching now 100 yards, 23 carries, 90 yards, breaks the deadlock. O'Donohue can make it a 7-point St. Louis advantage. He nails it. 9:11 left to go in regulation now. And St. Louis, a very impressive drive, mixing the pass and the run well. The young quarterback, Neil Lomax, but he gave it to his money back, Otis Anderson. The Cardinals by a touchdown. Neil O'Donohue, a pair of field goals. And the Cardinals go back out on top. Tony Collins will let this one sail on through. Good kick by Neil O'Donohue, and New England will start 1st and 10 from their own 20-yard line. It was 3-0 St. Louis, as you take a look at the scoring drive by the St. Louis Cardinals. They mixed the run and the pass well, but there were two key catches there. Lomax going to Roy Green, number 25 on both occasions, and O.J. Anderson going the final 14. Now we'll see just what the Patriots are made out of. The players told us they were better coached, better prepared than ever before, and have been all season long as they rally around Ron Earhart and company. But there have been some critical mistakes in all of their ball games. And that missed extra point loomed large for a while. Now they need a sustained drive and some scores.
And they need that leadership at quarterback. Matt Cavanaugh has to rise up and do it. My feeling is when you look at the Patriots, they have an explosive offense. They have Stanley Morgan. They have Sam Cunningham. They have Collins. They have Jackson. They have a good tight end. You need that leadership at quarterback. Grogan can provide when he's hot. His consistency's been a problem. Cavanaugh is known as a winner, not your classic quarterback, but right now he has to inspire this Patriot team and bring them back.
2nd down and 5 off that last carry by Vagas Ferguson. The rookie, Tony Collins, gets the play, and he slithers back to about the 26-yard line. You know, you look at this Patriots season, John, they lost to Baltimore 29-28 in a real heartbreaker that opening game. And that might have really been an indication of things that were to come. Then they go into Philadelphia, and they play the Eagles, just coming off that Super Bowl against Oakland. And they're actually leading Philadelphia 3-0 seconds before halftime when there was a very controversial field goal. So they go in tied 3-all there. They lose that game 13-3. They lose to Dallas 35-21. They come back and they lose to Pittsburgh in overtime. Then they beat Kansas City. They had another heartbreaker, 28-24 to the Jets. They beat Houston, so they're still alive there. But now they're in the midst of a 5-game losing streak. 3rd and 3. Cavanaugh looks left. Fires. Got his man. Passes back to tight end. 1st down and more, all the way up to the 40-yard line. The Patriots get a big 1st down. Dave Aaron's in there on the hit. The rookie linebacker from Wisconsin. A 13-yard pickup. Take another look.
And this is really a fine tight end, a great target at 6'7", easy to find. He just comes out, comes back under as the other back clears out of the backfield, makes the catch. And you know, coming into the game, Hasselbeck had caught 40 passes for 752 yards, and that's more than he caught in all the first 4 years of his career, playing behind, of course, the great Russ Francis, the all-world tight end, who retired at preseason this year before preseason.
Hasselbeck, the best reception yardage among all the tight ends in the NFL. It's among all 28, 18.8 yards. Stanley Morgan, look out, he can fly. The Warriors are going. 1st down, New England, inside St. Louis territory, all the way down at the Cardinal 43-yard line. Dave Aaron's his 2nd successive stop, a 16-yard pickup, and another back-to-back 1st down by the Patriots.
Pittsburgh Steelers used to do it so well to Lynn Swann, John Stoller, the quick hitch pattern. He follows his blockers well. Stanley Morgan, with that blazing speed, has a chance when he catches a pass like this to take it all the way.
Cleveland coming back against Cincinnati, 28-14 now. The Browns have gotten a 1-yard run by Mike Pruitt. 12:32 left to go in that football game. Cincinnati with a record of 9-3 atop the AFC Central. Vagas Ferguson picks up 6 hard-earned yards over the right side. Good hole opened up there by Bob Kreider, Shelby Jordan. You know, the right side of that New England offensive line doesn't get quite the notoriety that the left side does, simply because John Hanna, Mr. All-Everything, 9 years out of Alabama, who some say is the finest offensive lineman to ever play the game. Others say he's the finest football player by position. Babe really told you that. Is over there on the left side, and the Patriots obviously would like to run left more often than right.
But it's interesting to the folks in St. Louis that Jordan and Kreider are both born in St. Louis.
Tony Collins, he's got more around. He gets down to the 32-yard line. And another 1st down for the Patriots. So New England playing for pride, coming back with a very impressive drive of their own after the Cardinals go out in front.
You know, Jim, you talk about their season, and you look at it. They lost 2 overtime games. 5 games they've lost by less than 5 points. As you look at the Jets burying Baltimore, 8 of their 10 losses, they were ahead in the 4th quarter. So they really have been snake-bitten. And if they continue this drive, maybe history won't repeat itself. But it's been a problem late in the game. The Patriots looking for a way to lose.
You talk about history. These two teams have only met 3 times in history since the merger. Big hole over the left side. Pickup of 5 hard-earned yards. Teddy Green, with an interception on the day, came up with that hit. Sam Cunningham back in there for a little bit of muscle. We talk about the Cardinals and the Patriots rivalry. Cardinals have won 2 of the 3 meetings. All of those games were in St. Louis. The last time that any Cardinals team played a regular season game in the Boston area was 1946, when the Cardinals were based in Chicago and they played the Boston Yankees. First down and more for the rookie, Tony Collins.
And you get the feeling now that that big offensive line, Jordan, Kreider, Brock, Hanna, and Wheeler, averaging 270 pounds against a very average, not that big a defensive line for the Cardinals, is just taking control of the game and driving them off that line of scrimmage and dominating.
You remember the Boston Yankees, don't you?
Oh, yeah, they had a great right fielder by the name of Kelly, didn't they?
You know where the Boston Yankees moved?
I give up.
Baltimore. They're now the Colts. From the 19-yard line, Vagas Ferguson. Close to the 15. And the Chicago Cardinals in that game against the Patriots, do you know who the quarterback was for the Chicago Cardinals?
Where are you getting all this trivia? I give up.
Paul Christman.
Uh-huh.
Great quarterback, later a great broadcaster.
Kind of like Jim Kelly.
No.
Well, he wasn't left-handed, though, like you.
Paul Crispin was in a class by himself. He was superb. 3:55 and counting. Second down and 7. Slot formation to the left side. Motion, that's Andy Johnson. He is usually around the football. This time it is Sam Cunningham getting the call. The big back rambles down to the 13-yard line. Bruce Radford on the stop, the third-year man out of Grambling.
Sets up an interesting situation, Jim. You have third and about 2.5 yards. It's that in-between distance. Can you get it rushing? If you don't make it, do you go for it on fourth down? You probably do. Late in the game, there's only 3 minutes and about 20 seconds left. You're down by 7 points. You have to get this ball into the end zone to tie it up.
I think on a 2-10 season, a win is very important to this Patriot team. I think that they would go for it if they don't pick up the first down.
No doubt about it.
Wide receivers, left and right, Collins and Cunningham, the running backs, key third down play for both teams. 3rd and 4, motion to the near side. Cavanaugh blitzes on, he's got it. Harold Jackson inside the 5, first down. Patriots knocking at the Cardinal door. And Cavanaugh is down back at the 22-yard line. Watch the pressure. There is blitz on right here. He doesn't read it. He's got to release quickly, and then he gets nailed.
Ooh, does he get nailed? Right in the midsection, taken down hard. Cavanaugh's off the field, though, appears to be okay.
Matt did a great job to get that ball to Harold Jackson. Jackson now 4 catches on the afternoon, 70 yards, but still nary a touchdown on the season for this 14-year veteran.
And that missed extra point looms large again. Sure, they make the touchdown, they take it in. Assuming they kick the extra point, it's 20-20. You have a good shot at overtime.
A lot of time left, and Donahue, a good field goal kicker for the Cardinals, would have the wind at his back. The double tight end alignment. Vegas Ferguson got it. He's got a touchdown. And New England within 1 point of tying it up. Vegas Ferguson from 4 yards out, and we are almost dead even.
Do you think Vegas Ferguson wants this touchdown? Watch him launch himself into the end zone from about 4 yards out. Big Sam Cunningham leading the way, number 39. There he goes. One of the flying Melendez touchdown. Patriots, extra point can tie it up.
For Vegas Ferguson, that's his 2nd touchdown on the ground this year. The last time the Patriots had an extra point try, the snap was high. Cavanaugh pulled it down and it was blocked. John Smith can tie up this football game. Flag on the play. He drilled it straight through. Now check the flag. I believe the Cardinals might have been offside. Now it's a question, were they drawn offside?
Offense, ball snap on the center, move the ball, then snap it.
So it is not so routine anymore, and again, another big mistake.
Once again, exactly. The history of the season has been mistakes. Here they are, ready to tie it up. A simple extra point. Smith hits it, dissects the uprights. Now they have to do it again from a little further out.
This no longer becomes automatic. Especially after the last 2 tries. John Smith must be wondering.
I'm laughing because the Patriots are bumping into one another. It's kind of indicative of what the year's been like.
A cold, winter-like New England day here at Foxborough. Snow was in the forecast. You look at a very nervous John Smith right now with gloves on. 2:54 left to go in regulation. Cavanaugh will put it down at the 15. So this is a 25-yard extra point. Again, the snap is bad. It's deflected, but it's good. Roy Green got a finger on that football and just changed direction, but John Smith had enough toe to get it through. 2:54 left to go in regulation. The Cardinals and Patriots dead even.
Let's see it again. Well, the snap is high again.
It's high into his inside.
He does a good job to get it down. Smith is coming no matter what. Who is that? Is that Roy Green?
Roy Green, he got a piece of it.
Strong, good.
Yeah.
Yes.
Jim Kelly, John Dockery, take another look. The snap is again high into the inside of Matt Cavanaugh, almost disrupting the timing. Matt gets it down. Now watch Roy Green right there, number 25. Just get his glove on it ever so slightly and watch Roy Green's reaction.
He lays out the way you should, way in front of the kicker, and watch him. He thinks he had it.
Said, I got a piece of it, but not nearly enough. Here is a terrible kickoff as they slither it on through. Cardinals field it finally. That's Willard Harrell, number 39. He is stacked up at the 22-yard line. And now the St. Louis offense takes the field, the New England defense, and we've got 2:44 to go in regulation. Tonight on CBS, it all starts off with 60 minutes. Then it's Archie Bunker's place, followed by One Day at a Time. Alice and the Jeffersons and Trevor John, M.D. A great lineup all tonight right here on CBS.
Jim, you mentioned a bad kick, but yet all year long, Jim Smith has been kicking, as you look at Ron Earhart, kicking short, giving that coverage team problems and giving the other team good field position. That was a squib. It wasn't handled very well. And Patriots in good defensive field position right now. Cards at 80 yards to go for a touchdown.
But certainly if they can get into field goal range, Neil O'Donoghue would have the wind at his back, and the Cardinals would like to get him into field goal range. Great pursuit. Lomax gets out of it. It's got O.J. Anderson, and look out. He accelerates. First down, St. Louis up near the 37. Again, the poise of the rookie quarterback.
And again, the extra dimension, Jim, of a quarterback who has the mobility to run, who has the strength and the ability to get away from rushing. Watch this. That's big Julie Adams with a hand on Lomax. Can't bring him down. Lomax keeps his cool, finds O.J. O.J. takes it upfield for the first down. So reminiscent of last week when they called that bootleg. Lomax brought it out against Baltimore, looked up, found the floor for the first down. They took it in, and another penalty up against the Patriots.
Unsportsmanlike conduct. Patriots bench, first down.
That was called against the New England Patriot bench. You know, Ron Earhart was telling us last night, and we've alluded to it on this telecast, you can go back in any football game to find 3 or 4 plays that will hurt you. Obviously, the missed extra point is one you can point to right away for New England, but right now they're hurting themselves. That was a costly 15-yard penalty tacked on, and they just hurt themselves again. The Patriots jumped off sides. Free play for the Cardinals. Anderson gets it inside the 45-yard line, but it'll be 1st and 5 when Fred Silva unscrambles this one. New England was offsides. That right man, Julius Adams, 85, it looked like. He was the man who made the tackle, and he was also the man that maybe jumped offside.
Julie might have... You know about the new rule in the NFL. Once that quarterback is in the grasp, he's generally blown dead. Here, the official said, as you listen to the call,
offside, first down.
I don't think you could call that in the grasp when all he's got is the jersey. And you've got a big, strong kid from Portland State, Neil Lomax, 6'3", 215. He was far from in the grasp. Lomax, 18 of 25, 241 yards. 1st and 5, we were right. New England was offsides. Wide receivers left and right. They go to the I formation. O.J. Anderson in there. Wayne Morris gets the call. Knifes his way forward, close to first down yardage. And the clock now definitely in the favor of the St. Louis Cardinals. They've got the football, and they've got 2 minutes with which to work. We're at the 2-minute warning right now. Neil Lomax will go over and confer with Jim Hannafin. We are tied dead even. The Patriots 20 and the St. Louis Cardinals 20. 2 minutes left in regulation. Will we have overtime, or will the Cardinals win it? We'll be back.
No way to be found?
What do we have on OJ? How many carries for OJ? 24 for 93.
How about Lomax?
It's okay.
What is it?
Eddie, if we could the next time. Jim Kelly, John Dockery back at Schaefer Stadium here in Foxborough. It has been a dandy. The Patriots 20, the Cardinals 20, 2 minutes left in regulation. Neil Lomax trots bat on. Take a look at some scores around the NFL today. Cincinnati has just scored again, an 11-yard touchdown run by Pete Johnson. The point after was blocked, so the Bengals go up now 34-14 over the Browns. Cincinnati will up their record to 10-3 and await that key division race next week with the San Francisco 49ers right here on CBS. First and 10, second and 1. Second and 10, O.J. Anderson still shy of first down yardage. Don Blackman, a great play. The rookie out of Tulsa stands O.J. Anderson straight up for no gain. Now, O.J., 25 carries, 93 yards. Interesting, John. The Patriots are last in the AFC in rushing, yet only 4 backs have had 100-yard games or better against them so far this year. Randy McMillan for Baltimore, Wilbert Montgomery for the Eagles, Tony Dorsett, and Delaney of Kansas City.
And certainly they shut down Earl Campbell, as we mentioned earlier. He got something like 68 yards and 24 carries. So they're doing a reasonable job on O.J., even though he's up close to the 100-yard mark.
Key play right here, third, and they need a yard. Patriots defense digging in. O.J. Anderson looks for running room. First down, Cardinals all the way down to the 35-yard line of New England. So St. Louis can keep that drive alive. Tim Fox, the 6-year veteran out of Ohio State, made the hit on O.J. Anderson. You saw, there is the Cincinnati score that we gave you. You saw what Green Bay was doing to Minnesota. Minnesota led in that game by a score of 14-0. So if the Vikings lose, their record would drop back to 7-6, tied with Detroit, who won on Thanksgiving Day after beating Kansas City 7-6. Timeout on the field, 59 seconds to go. We're all even, 20, the Patriots and the Cardinals. Now, I was going to ask you if we could get O.J.'s stats up there the next time he carried the ball, but we didn't have time. I wanted to get that stat in about only 4 guys have rushed for over 100 yards against the Patriots.
What do we got going? Overtime? What time-wise, Eddie? If they kick the field goal.
Overtime? No. Overtime? We're just taking opinion. Tampa? Okay. Yeah, thank you. Okay. It was 14-0 Saints on top, but the Bucs are coming back. A 2-yard run by Doug Williams, 17-14. If Tampa Bay wins, Minnesota loses, they're all tied with the Lions at 7-6 in that NFC Central. First and 10, Cardinals driving for the go-ahead score. 59 seconds to play. Roy Green out there in the flat. That one was just an errant pass by Neil Lomax. He thought Green was going to turn it upfield, and Green instead stayed out there in the flat a little bit. Coming up next, it should be a dandy. The New York Giants thinking playoffs themselves. 6 up and 6 down on the year, taking on the San Francisco 49ers, John, 9-3.
And when you look at the New York Giants, their defense, some of the best linebackers in the NFL. Lawrence Taylor, maybe the best, but certainly Van Pelt, Carson, Kelly, they are a formidable defense. That's how they beat Philadelphia last week.
Second down and 10. 55 seconds left to play. 20 all. Patriots and the St. Louis Cardinals. O.J. Anderson, and there is a great hit for 48 Timmy Fox. One-on-one wrestles O.J. out of bounds, and of course will stop the clock, but that's tough to do to bring him back that big down an open field.
Yeah, it's like wrestling a bull to the ground. You can only go to the well so often. That time Lomax tried to go to O.J. again in the flat. A high percentage, low-risk pass. It was completed, but not for much yards. We have a tie and a timeout. We'll be right back. Yes, he has. Okay.
I think the thing to do would be to concentrate on his day-to-day. I mean, he comes into a stadium he's never played in before, the wind being a factor. I mean, accentuate the positive more than the hard thing, at least in the beginning.
Look, he's wearing rib guards, taking off his jersey. What is it, a rib jersey? Yeah.
Bobby, maybe we can get a shot of a very sad Ron Earhart, too, if the Cardinals kick the field goal. The preceding message furnished by the National Football League. 42 seconds remaining. As you look at the situation right now, the Patriots and the Cardinals all tied at 20. There is Neil Lomax. He went over and put on a new jersey. And we saw that he had some protection on his ribs. It looked like one of those flak jackets.
More and more quarterbacks wearing those because of them getting hit in the midsection, throwing the ball and being unprotected.
I bet Danny White wished he had one on Thanksgiving Day against the Bears. Big third down play for both teams. 3rd and 8. Cardinals need the first down to get into better field goal position. Patriots would like to stop them, obviously. First down, Roy Green, look out, this might be a touchdown. St. Louis goes up with 33 seconds to go. And if Ron Earhart is looking for the 4th play of this football game to reflect on, he just found it.
How many times would it happen to the Boston Patriots? Last week against Buffalo. That pass, rolling hooks in the end zone, making the catch off the Hail Mary as you look along the Patriots sideline. This time Lomax keeps his cool under pressure. He waits and waits, finds Roy Green coming across. Green makes a good catch behind him. Ball's actually not that well thrown. Green sprints into the end zone, puts St. Louis on top with just 33 seconds left.
What speed and acceleration by Roy Green. You see why Jim Hannafin is so high on him and why he feels he'll be a better offensive receiver than a defensive back. Neil O'Donoghue nails it straight through the uprights, and the Cardinals go up 27-20. As you look at the New England Patriot bench, Neil Lomax, 20 out of 28, 275 yards, and 1 touchdown.
No interceptions also. St. Louis leading by 7. You know, you talked to Neil Lomax. He told me last night the toughest part of this game for him is the mental part. He knows he can throw the ball. He knows he's a good quarterback. But certainly today, you can see that his development along those lines of being able to read defenses and handle a full game plan, adjusting in midstream, has come a long way. Neil Lomax is an impressive young quarterback.
33 seconds left to go. The Patriots have 2 timeouts left.
The Cardinals have to be happy. They're on the threshold of their 3rd win in a row. I mean, that hasn't happened in a long time. They'll be 6-7 after this game. Certainly still a shot at the playoffs, as you mentioned throughout the telecast, Jim. And the feeling that, look, we are rolling, we are growing, and that the future is bright.
Certainly not impossible for the Patriots, but a very difficult task, especially when you think that Matt Cavanaugh is not the long bomb thrower that Ron Earhart would like to have in there. Steve Grogan is out with a knee injury. Tony Collins awaits this kick by Neil O'Donoghue. He's got the wind at his back. It is high. It is end over end. Collins fields in the end zone. He will have to wait there. And the Patriots will break 1st and 10 from their own 20 with 2 timeouts and 33 seconds left to go. The Jets 35, Baltimore nothing. That's a final score. So the New York Jets up their record to 8-4-1 and take for the moment a temporary lead over the Miami Dolphins. The Dolphins of Don Shula play host to Dick Vermeil's Philadelphia Eagles tomorrow night. Next on CBS, at the conclusion of this game, you'll see the Giants 6-6 and fighting for a wild card playoff spot against the San Francisco 49ers 9-3 atop the NFC Western Division.
And who would have believed that in New York that we'd have a possibility for 2 playoff teams, the Giants and the Jets, going into this year?
Cincinnati has scored again. They now lead 41-14. Little sideline. Tries to get out of bounds, does Tony Collins, to stop the clock. He does up at the 30-yard line, close to first down yardage. It'll be about the length of the football shy. But, of course, now the clock winding down and working against the New England Patriots.
There certainly is time, though, as you mentioned, Jim. 27 seconds, 2 timeouts, some good receivers here. Remember, you have a Stanley Morgan, a game breaker, Harold Jackson, who knows, and next week another fine game, San Francisco again, this time taking on another 9-3 team, Cincinnati, both teams rolling towards the playoffs.
Slot to the right side from the shotgun. Cavanaugh wants to go deep, gives it the pump. He's got Hasselbeck open at midfield. The big tight end inside Cardinal territory. New England quickly rushes up and calls a timeout. So the Patriots now have gone 30 yards in 13 seconds. They've used 1 timeout, a 20-yard pickup. New England with 1 timeout remaining, and they are 50 yards away from tying up this football game. Very tough to do with just 20 seconds and only 1 timeout, John. But as New England knows from being on the other side of that coin, it is definitely possible. Good choice. The big tight end, Don Hasselbeck, across the middle. A wobbly ball again, but still right there. He takes it in his hands, holds on, gets the first down at midfield, just 20 seconds left. Big play by the big tight end, who last week set the club record for most yards receiving in a season by a Patriot tight end. It was held by Jim Whalen. Whalen had 718 yards on 47 catches in 68. Hasselbeck exceeded that with 752 yards and a club-leading 40 high receptions. Cavanaugh now has completed 13 of his last 14 passes. John, when you went to Harvard, did you call them the Boston Patriots?
They were the Boston Patriots back then. Now they're the New England Patriots. But you know, the rap on Don Hasselbeck, a lot of people wondered whether he could take over for Russ Francis. He certainly allayed all of those fears, and he's surprisingly fast. The rap was, well, maybe he's too slow. But yet, when you watch him run downfield for those first 20 yards with Harold Jackson and Stanley Morgan, he's stride for stride with his long stride. And certainly, Harold Jackson, Stanley Morgan, Hasselbeck are receivers that can get you into the end zone in a hurry. The question is, can Matt Cavanaugh pull it out of the bag right now, provide that inspiration and leadership when the moment of truth is at hand?
Final in from Pittsburgh. The Steelers 24, the Rams nothing. So Pittsburgh now 8-5 into that AFC playoff picture once again. 20 seconds to go. 1st and 10 New England. Slot formation to the left side from the shotgun. Cavanaugh looks left. Hit from behind with his arm in forward motion. Scramble for it. New England comes up with it. It was a fumble, and now the Patriots will have to use their final timeout. They get the football back. Brian Holloway, 76, the rookie out of Stanford. Cavanaugh was stripped of the football, and that used 13 very precious seconds.
It looked like Cavanaugh was going to pass the ball. Looked like it hit off someone. We'll take a look here and see if we can pick it up. He's got time. He steps up. He's getting pressure up front. Yes, see around the backside, one of the St. Louis Cardinals got his hand on his arm.
Curtis Greer.
The scramble. The big man, number 76, all 6'7", 275 pounds. Holloway out of Stanford picks it up, but 13 seconds, as you said, elapsed in that play.
Another first-round draft pick, Brian Holloway out of Stanford, and after all of that, there looks to be a penalty against the New England Patriots. The executive producer of the NFL, Terry O'Neill. Senior producer, Charles Milton. Today's game, produced by Ed Gorin, directed by Mr. Bob Dale. It's
time for the Hail Mary pass. Buffalo used it last week. Let's see the Patriots can turn it around. They'll probably put 3 wide receivers, maybe Toe or Morgan Jackson out to one side. Yes, see around the backside, one of the St. Louis Cardinals got his hand on his arm.
Curtis Greer.
Curtis Greer, the scramble, the big man, number 76, all 6'7", 275 pounds. Holloway out of Stanford picks it up, but 13 seconds, as you said, elapsed to not play.
Another first-round draft pick, Brian Holloway out of Stanford, and after all of that, there looks to be a penalty against the New England Patriots. The executive producer of the NFL, Terry O'Neill. Senior producer, Charles Milton. Today.